up since we identified areas in which we needed staffing. So with that, in the report, it reflects the finance staff. We feel comfortable about our plan right now, and we've reorganized and have the staff in place. So we're confident that this is going to be rectified in the next year's audit. But those vacancies themselves, they're all listed on the website, and they're all up to date to the day.
Okay. So if I go in there, I'm going to see every vacancy that we have.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll take a look at that. That was E, right? Website. Then I had H, this Edmunds software. Edmunds software, and I've heard for years. In fact, I think Bob Deal might have been a junior councilman at that time, when everybody talked about getting rid of Edmunds, right? And we were going to do a ADP at one time, and we invested like $500,000 into ADP, right? But that burned, right? Obviously, it didn't work, because then we went with a unicorn system, okay? And we were going to get rid of Edmunds. We were going to roll it all together. And every administration tells us the same thing. Even when I wasn't a councilman, I sat there and I heard the administration tell the council people, "Oh, are we going to keep Edmunds forever?"
So Edmunds, I'm going to clarify exactly what the different modules are within Edmunds. So we use Edmunds for our financing, for our finance system. In Edmunds, there's of course a module for human resources and attendance timekeeping. It is not a good module. It's not a good form to use, so that's why we have Unicorn. However, in the coming year, we do have to go out to bid for a new system, if you will, because it's such a large number, a large procurement, that we have to go out and bid much like anything else. So in the spirit of transparency, that's what we have to do. So we're keeping Edmunds. That's what we use right now. And for the most part, majority of New Jersey municipalities, to do all of our reconciling, our purchase orders, that's what we use. We post our budget on Edmunds. So it's a lot more complex than anything. What you're referring to is the HR module, which was what we now have uniformly used Unicorn for. So that's what's there now in place.
Can I ask one question on that? It's just a follow-up to this.
Sure.
Is our police department on the Unicorn system?
Everybody's on Unicorn. However, when we're talking about police and fire, they're on the POS system, which is crafted towards their scheduling.
Right, like I seen that the fire transferred over to the Unicorn, but the police didn't. In the auditor's report, under the correction action plan, it stated that the police are on this POS system, and the fire are now on the Unicorn, and everybody else is on the Unicorn. Is the police going to eventually get onto the Unicorn?
So what happens is whatever is in POS, which both fire and police are in, it absorbs into Unicorn. So we've made sure that all of that information is in Unicorns. We keep all of our employees in Unicorn so we can have the proper reconciling of who's in there, who's out, and what benefits go in there, how we do our payroll. We're trying to keep everything all on one system. So however we put out the specifications for a new time and attendance keeping system, that's a requirement that any system that we currently have in place needs to make sure that the information is transferable and consistent.
All right, thank you very much.
Any questions or comments from council members?
Council President,
Yes.
on H, and thank you, Sonia, for giving the updates on the Edmunds and Unicorn. I know beyond getting the Unicorn, it was a long-term strategy, and was happy to be part of that when I was on the finance committee, and hopefully we move out of Edmunds for good next year or maybe following year, because this is something pain in neck. This Edmunds software, its integration with Unicorn is a problem.
No, we're not moving out of Edmunds because we post our budget in Edmunds.
Understood. As of today, yes. But I'm saying you need to find some alternative eventually.
For HR, for the time and attendance
Correct.
stuff,
Yep.
yes.
Okay. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman Patil. Any other council comments? Hearing none, moving to the Department of Health, A, B, and C. Any questions or
Yes,
comments?
Council President?
Yes.
Both A and B, and Sonia, I know we had a discussion earlier today about these, both A and B, and I just wanted a little bit more information on the $5,000 from the DMHAS grant you mentioned was going to go to certified facilitators, food supply, and food supplies for the I can't read my own writing, for or families. So, you know, I'm for, because of the drug problem here and in so many places, I'm for whatever funds we can get. $5,000, it doesn't sound like a whole lot to me, and I'm wondering, in terms of these facilitators who are running the program, I'm kind of wondering a little bit more about what would this program look like? What would the facilitators be running?
You're looking for specific information as far as what the program offers?
What, yes,
Outside of the food and supplies?
yes, is there more, you know, so is that what the facilitator is going to be coordinating for that? Is that pretty much it?
That's pretty much it,
Okay.
what's on there, yeah.
Okay. And then for B, the submission for the drug abuse fiscal grant, so that money is going to go where specifically? Where is that earmarked for?
It's through the Municipal Alliance, so all of the programming that we offer through the Municipal Alliance.
Okay. And is there anything more specific about, you know, about how that money is allocated or used?
I can get that to you tomorrow with the reports of
Okay.
where the money is going specifically.
All right, I'd appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Any questions? Thank you, Councilmember Harris. Any questions or comments from anybody else, A, B, and C? Hearing none, moving to the Department of Law, A. Any questions or comments?
Council President,
Yes, Councilmember Patil?
this has been on the council dais multiple times. Is there anything that has changed since last it was discussed? Or what's the new plan? Let me put this way.
Nothing's changed. We just resubmitted it. I held it back a few times to have further consideration from the mayor and the administration.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
It's the beauty rest.
The beauty, oh, okay.
What's exactly going there?
Councilmember Pointer?
Well, from the redevelopment standpoint, this doesn't necessarily give the exact plan. It just authorizes an update to what would be allowed on the property. So as of right now, it's not like there's architectural engineering plans for a proposed building and/or facility. It's just, I guess from a zoning standpoint, you can call it, what would be allowable there. Because right now, I believe it's in the GBH zone, and that has, I don't want to say limitations, but certain items that are allowed, not allowed, et cetera.
Understood, but typically the developer will come up with some sort of intent, what they would like to build or what they would like to see. And that's why, it comes to the council dais and goes to the planning board for the consideration. The nitty-gritty will be done afterward. But do we know what the intent, at least at this point in time? Or we are just saying they can put whatever they want? Again, if anyone.
Council
has-
President, if
Yes,
I
go
may
ahead.
turn to the attorney, this is an agreement regarding redevelopment, so if you could just explain.
Sure. So this resolution sends the Beauty Rest Motel redevelopment plan that was adopted in 2017 after it being declared an area in need of redevelopment in 2016 back to the planning board to amend the plan to have the permitted uses amended and adopted for this property that's located on 520 US Highway 1. So, reading the resolution, it sends to the planning board to determine whether or not a self-storage facility with parking would be a permitted use in that redevelopment plan.
Okay. We'll see, hopefully planning board understand that this is probably the prime location right on Route 1, and how the storage facility will it look appealing to that neighborhood? But again, I will leave it to planning board. Thank you, Council President.
Yeah, Councilman Patil, I have wrestled with this myself, and I went over with Councilman Pointer. The issue at hand is the Beauty Rest Hotel has had decades of issues there. So it is a small piece of property, and I only wished it was a different opportunity, and that's why I held it off for 3 more months. But it's on the table for something to be done that fits a use better than what the pre-existing use is and the issues that we've had. And I don't want to ask the chief how many problems we've had there, but it's definitely an eyesore and an issue. So, but thank you for listening to this matter.
Council President?
Yes, Councilman.
This is the one where I guess we're going to seek to eliminate a road, and then the road would be given to the Beauty Rest Motel. So if their lot is whatever it is, 200 by 100, they're going to pick up this roadway, which potentially allows their property to be worth quite a sum more. The question I guess I have is, right, we can't sell it to them. We can only give that to them if we vacate that street, I believe.
I think, Councilman Pressure, I think there's a trade-off. There's a split piece between the road and the pre-existing property, and I think there's a trade-off of us taking that space in the middle to be ours.
I didn't
that's
see that.
possible.
What I seen was, what it seems to me is that they own property now on both sides of the road. So they bought both sides of the road, and they're looking to have the road vacated, which would give them one larger lot. I'm saying, why would the township of Edison want to vacate a road so someone else's property is worth more, is my only question. And if we send this to the planning board, right, are they going to take that into account about vacating the road? So what I'm saying is, if I approve this tonight, is that vacating the road part of this potential approval?
Sonia, what's your,
The road's already vacated, so there's not necessarily a trade-off here. And we're not vacating a street tonight. We're just marking that area in need of redevelopment.
Did I see that street being vacated on this?
I think this is long back. This is coming back from 2017, 2018. So it's a lot history with this project, Councilman. So street vacation might have done long back. Yeah. So
Okay, so the street vacation you're telling me was already done here.
Yes,
Okay, and the street exists there today, though.
correct, right.
So the street's there, but we vacated it. Huh, interesting.
Council President?
yes,
My
Councilman.
understanding is that regardless if it was vacated previously, I'm not aware of, but because it affronts on Route 1, that whatever would be going on, pardon me, would have to have a DOT approval. And just for people's reference and understanding, when the initial study happened in 2016, it was identified as an area in need of redevelopment under criteria D, based on the layout that the hotel currently has and the parking deficiency that it has. So that's why it was brought forth originally for the planning board.
No, yeah, the only exemption I had was vacating the road, and why would we be vacating it and giving it to someone? That was, but if you're telling me it was already vacated, I mean, I'll just verify it tomorrow. Yeah, I don't have a problem. Thank you.
Council President, just last
Yes,
question
Councilman
on
Patel.
that, because this is, as I said, it's a prime property right on Route 1. Does it impact anything in a master plan? Because we don't want adjacent, there are a ton of restaurants, motels on that road. The adjacent property owner come back and say, I want to build now the storage facility. Does anybody knows? Is this, because this will literally become a spot zoning if this goes through and the planning board approves.
I think this application came before the master plan. It was even thought of. This started in 2016. To the council.
Thank you. So it is not an issue of spot zoning because redevelopment by its very nature is not spot zoning.
True.
You can have scattered site redevelopments as long as the criteria set forth in the redevelopment statute have been met. So you can have a specific redevelopment plan for one piece of property, and it is not spot zoning.
That's exactly what we do wrong in this town, and that's exactly the reason we have the master plan study underway, because we pick and choose the piece of property, put that in redevelopment zone, and we say it is not a spot zoning. Yes, it is a spot zoning, technically. By technical matter, the way we draft the resolution, it is not a spot zoning. But again, that's a whole different conversation. My question is, does it impact the master plan, or is this taken care in the master plan?
Sonia?
I can find out how this was implemented in the last master plan and confirm with you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Council President?
Yes.
Quick question, as long as we have the attorney there. If this goes through and this goes down to planning and this comes back as an area in need of redevelopment, at the end of the day, is there a developer's agreement that gets drawn up?
There's a redevelopment agreement that gets drawn up, assuming you have designated a redeveloper for the
that-
particular property.
Okay, and if we don't approve this, that applicant can go to zoning, let's say, if he's looking to change the zoning, right? There's a way for him to develop this without doing an area in need of redevelopment, correct?
It's my understanding that this is already an area in need of redevelopment, that this is just amending the proposed redevelopment plan, which implements the redevelopment designation.
I'll tell you
to
what my,
add permitted uses. An applicant always has the ability to go to a land use board to seek relief from the underlying zoning.
let me tell you what my problem is, I guess. I sat in a closed room to talk about potential litigation where there was a developer that had a developer's agreement. And in there, he had a letter about how he loves trees and he wants to plant trees and yada, yada, yada. And at the end of the day now, he's coming back to us and saying, I want to do 50 cents on the dollar. And I asked our attorney there why we would do a developer's agreement if they could come back to us. Whereas if he went through zoning, right, he would get all his approvals and whatever he was approved to put in and whatever trees he had to put in, it would all be there in zoning. But supposedly the developer's agreement allows him to come back later. So I guess that turned me off to this whole area in need of redevelopment kind of thing. And that was with one of your colleagues. So, yeah, that's why I was asking, right? Okay, so there's going to be a developer's agreement of some kind if this goes through.
Redevelopment agreement. There's a difference between a developer's agreement and a redevelopment agreement.
Yeah, listen, you're a lawyer. I mean, I'm sure you can win both ways from Sunday. And that's fine. But at the end of the day, they can come back and they can challenge if we tell them they have to put trees in.
I think,
Without being specific and not knowing the specific terms, you can always seek to renegotiate the terms
Yes.
of an agreement.
Of course, I
That
didn't.
sounds like what happened. here.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. And by us going forward with this, we open ourselves up for a possibility of the same thing happening.
well, Councilman Brescher, I mean, in the years I've been on the council and the years you have been on the council, which is 3 years, not 2 years.
3.
3, okay?
Okay.
We've been challenged very few times. In fact, in my history, the only challenge that has been brought on a developer's agreement, which was the site we're discussing now, which we've tabled that agreement, and we're not moving forward with the tree negotiation.
Right,
We want
they're
them to pay the
working
full
on-
price.
right.
So we're going to let the courts decide. So, but anybody at any time can appeal their agreement, from what I understand.
Okay, so
Doesn't mean they're going to win.
no, so we're standing up to that, right?
Well, we're not putting, that subject is not being brought back to the agenda underneath my council president.
Oh, okay. Because that was my concern, was I felt that, right, somebody
Yeah,
had an
no, we-
agreement, you go to
we're-
court with it.
We're going to go
And
die with
here
the
I
sword on
have,
that one.
here I have another, the same scenarios coming up, you know what I mean? And
Yeah. Well, each one is the same and independent, Councilman. It's the same,
thank you.
same, okay? All right. So moving forward, any other questions from council members on the Department of Law? Hearing none, moving forward to the Department of Planning and Engineer, A and B.
Council President, is the question on B, is this the same construction company that we awarded the contract for toilet room renovation sometime back, mid of this year?
For the senior center, yes.
So this is additional?
It's a change order, yes.
I believe, it was somewhere like 40,000 something, that odd amount, or 40, 50,000. So the cost went up by $14,000.
Correct. And this is due to the suppression system testing. I'm sorry, I apologize. No, this is for the bathroom and the additional work that needed to be completed as a result of the suppression system, which is in the next section under Public Works. So there was additional work that needed to be completed as a result of the suppression system going awry.
Okay, so let me understand. So this company finished their bathroom work that was approved by this council, and then we ended up changing the suppression system, and that resulted into additional work.
The work was never completed because when there was hookups to the water system and the suppression system, we found out one wasn't working, so the bathroom project had to come to a halt. We had to wait for the suppression system to resolve on itself, but we're near done and with the project on this last change order.
Okay, do we know when this will be done so we can open the senior center?
We're hoping mid-January. As we discussed that in January we'd be up and running. So once we get this adopted, we're going to go ahead in the next couple weeks and hope to get our seniors in there. We're trying to work on programming, bringing some new programs and old programs back that we've heard they wanted back. So yeah, we're trying everything we can in order to get the two contractors.
Okay, thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilmember Patil. Any other questions or comments?
Council President, Sonia, when we open up the senior building, will there be like, blue ribbon, or can we like open it up to a grand opening and like, have a little celebration for our seniors and stuff when we do open up?
I think that may be appropriate, so we can discuss the details.
Okay.
Okay, any other council members for 13? Hearing none, moving to the Department of Public Works, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Any questions or comments from council members?
Council President?
Yes, Councilmember Brescher, you have the floor.
B, we have a volleyball court. When I sent it earlier and I was looking for the specifications and all of that, what I was hoping to find was we're going to get 10 yards of stone, 10 yards of sand. But that's not what I got. What I got was we're going to do excavation, we're going to put stone in, we're going to put sand in, but not really telling me what you're building for $43,000, right? Like, we just had the Eagle Scout, and I don't know if Edison residents here know, but we had an Eagle Scout a couple years ago that went to Edison High School, and he built us a volleyball court at Edison High School, which was a remarkable thing. In fact, I just found out that he did the fundraising for the materials and everything. So it was like a one-man job that built it. This is a $43,000 volleyball court, and I just don't see where the money is. Two guys on an excavator, $4,500 with the machine to dig it out, and then you got some stone, another $1,000, and sand, maybe special sand, $3,000, and a couple grand for the netting and the posts, which I get. But I'm just not understanding where we're spending the $35,000 in the labor to do this. And then in their proposal, they had qualifications where they're not taking the dirt that they're taking out. They're not accepting any responsibility for storage of the material or anything. So they're going to drop it off. It's going to get stolen, the net. It's going to be in someone's backyard. And And because they had it as an exclusion, we're on the hook for the material. So, and we bid this, right?
This is through a co-op, to the educational co-op.
Okay,
So-
and no one thought
So
that.
they actually go through all of the vetting, much like we would as a township.
Sonia, listen, I've probably been doing this a lot longer than you have. And that's as an elected official. So yeah, I'm pretty well aware of it. In fact, I told you that at Edison High School, the Board of Education, when I was there, we engineered, went to DEP for approvals, and built, okay, a baseball field in a one-year time frame, where that was through the cooperative, and we did it all. So I'm very well aware of that. My question is, $43,000, the administration actually feels is a legitimate number for a volleyball field, a volleyball court. It's one court, right? Because I also had the notes that you sent me, right, with specifications. I don't know if all the council people got that. But
Everybody gets all of the backup, so it's all
all
in
right,
there.
then they had to see if they read drawings. I don't know if everybody can read drawings. I know John can. That what I had copies of were for the community garden, and like how they were going to build the planter boxes. There was nothing in there that showed the field, the volleyball field. But so you're telling me $43,000 is a legitimate cost for some dirt to be taken out, you putting some stone in, some sand, and a net?
So if I may, I could just go through all of the scope of the work that's on here.
I don't think that's necessary.
They're bullet points. I mean, they're
Sure,
not.
if you want
okay.
to, it's fine.
Sure, there are unforeseen obstructions to the surface, obviously, through the installation and removal of the dirt. Accepting delivery, of course, checking the materials, storage, security materials of job site.
Well, that's excluded, right?
It's if non-included services are needed, additional charges will apply billed at the cost of the contract. So this is a list of everything that's.
Right, and here's where I'm going. When you go to the second one, can you read the second one again?
Accepting delivery.
Right. So
Okay.
so they're supplying the material and their installers installing it. What are we involved with accepting delivery? We don't accept deliveries for that. That's their contractor that's installing it. Like, that should have no bearing on us. Anybody in the construction field will tell you that.
Councilman Brescher, just a point of order before. Are there any other council members that have questions on this particular item?
Council President, just one question.
I just want to try to yield to some other people.
Okay.
And I'm just confused on whether we are responsible, and I get your questions, Councilmember, but to some point, we approve or disapprove the spending of what we want accomplished. Neither one of us are involved in the day-to-day operations of project management. I know how important it is, but we don't have the management to control theft or any operations of delivery set forth. So I'm going to move forward.
Let me tell you where I go with it.
But I'm going to move to some other people. I'll come right back to you.
But right, I just want to explain it. You were very involved in the Chamber of Commerce.
This is,
right?
no, I'm going to point of order. Rich, we
No,
just have to
this
go to
is
the
a
members.
point of order.
Rich, point of order. Let's just go to some other members. I mean, we're beating this down.
You made
And I know your point. I understand that. But other members, let me just hear from other members of the council. That's all I'm asking for your courtesy.
Council President?
Yes.
Is this something that urgent that it has to be approved today?
If members of the council want to pull it, I can
Not
ask
a
Sonia
question
how
of
important
pulling
it is.
or, voting yes or no. It is just that if council colleague wants more information, because honestly, I didn't get a chance to do the deep dive. But just a question, if it is an emergency, I'll be more than happy to vote yes. But it is something that can wait for another week or so. We will have the reorg meeting.
I don't
just put it
think,
there.
I don't think that's anything we can't consider.
Council President,
Yes, Councilman Vice President?
as we get these projects back and forth and get them going, I don't want to do anything that will stop the progress that we're making now, because after a while, it may be a recession, maybe something else down the road. And I also know that when you're building something at all, you want it done the proper way, because I see people who build stuff and they do it the cheap way. then the next time you got to go back on it again, and so then that doubles the price. I'm concerned about the taxes. If we just build it and throw it together cheaply, then it's going to hurt us as taxpayers because we're going to have to put that money back out again. And I've seen some projects in Edison that we had to, because we were cheap with it, we had to go back and do something again. And that cost us more money, so we had to okay more money than we did the first time. That's the only reason, that's how I look at some of these projects that's going on. I really don't want to impede the progress. And I don't want to waste money for any of you. I don't want to waste any money. But I do want this neighborhood and the place that we live in, Edison. I want this stuff. I want the volleyball stuff for the people. I want the pickleballs. I want the tennis courts. I want the splash parks I've waiting on forever. But I want these things to see us progress, because I spoke to some younger parents today, and they said, well, I'm thinking about moving out of town because it's not enough stuff for my kid to do. So that's where I'm speaking from at this point, talking to the younger parents who have children that are in the young ages, 7 to 8, along that way. They're looking for, so they don't have to leave town to go that way. And I know because of the pandemic, I know inflation is crazy now, ridiculous, and I think some people are just gouging us because of it. A lot of people are taking advantage of it. So that's why I understand Councilman Brescher when he's saying something about I can understand that point also, because there are people who do take advantage in different situations. My whole thing is that I just want us to be able to move forward.
Thank you, Council Vice President. Any other council members
yes.
would like to speak on this?
Council President?
Yes.
Sonia, can you refresh my memory on how much each pickleball court had cost? Just the cost of one pickleball court. I'm just curious. It's not apples to apples, but just to try to, put them side by side a bit. Do you remember?
I don't, but I mean, we did temporary pickleball, so it was netting. We're strictly talking about netting, and
Okay.
there was some, a couple little hardware things that we did. So those are orange and apples that we'd
Yeah.
be comparing. I don't
Yeah.
necessarily know that.
So there was
We're
no
literally
full-
constructing
no
an
real-
entire volleyball court.
Right. All right.
Grading involved.
So pickleball, it was not, it wasn't digging out of really so much of things. It was just putting the nets and the
Real
equipment.
We're literally just painting lines and netting, lowering
Okay.
the netting, new netting, just to provide that in the immediate.
Right.
Yeah.
Council President?
Patel? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
She's
Let me
not
just come
finished.
in.
She's not finished. Hold on a
I'm
second.
in agreement with Council Vice President that, I think this town, I welcome whatever leisure and recreational activities we can get here. I think it's really so important. And so I also would like to see this resolution go through. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other council members?
Council President,
Yes,
so
Councilman Patel.
Councilman Brescher, I was looking up online as to what's the cost of an average volleyball court, and it could range from 22 to 120,000. So depending on the material,
120,000.
yeah.
Nish, listen, I have no clue what you do for a living, but 30 years of doing this stuff for a living, I've never seen no one do one for $100,000 unless it was up on top of a building somewhere.
Well, I mean, you're the expert in this. I'm just quoting what is being
yes,
told
listen,
to me by sportsvenuecalculator.com.
And I'll tell you where my concern
Councilman,
comes.
can I ask for one courtesy, Councilman Brescher?
No, you had
It's-
your
it's fair-
courtesy.
No, there are members of the public that are here for a specific issue, and I know they are challenged. And if you could just allow them to get to that point of the resolution to speak on that specific resolution, I promise to come back to you during council comments
Okay,
for
no.
this, and I will give you a yield time for you.
No, let me tell you where I have a problem,
we're
Council
beating-
President.
we're beating a
Point of
horse.
order, I had the floor, so before you continue.
That's true.
I
Let
just want to
Nish
say,
finish.
I understand a house can be built for $10,000 and it can also be built for $100,000. It's the material, the professionalism, and all that you pay for. I understand the Eagle Scout did it by himself, and he was able to, and I congratulate him for it. But this is done by a township. We are liable for lawsuits, for a lot of other things that we have to be in mind for. So I'm okay paying $20,000 on top of the lowest budget that's going on here to make sure that we do it right. And that's my point on this. And I do want that volleyball court.
I mean, and it can be a different time today, Councilman Brescher, that materials and costs and labor are at its highest. So you can't compare today of yesterday. And I just leave with, and I know you have more questions. Our responsibility is not project management on a day-to-day.
No,
Our
I'll tell you.
responsibility, whether you're for or against this resolution, you voted up or voted down, and
No, let me tell you. No,
but
no,
you're
no, Council
beating
President.
this
No, you're
a long time, and
no,
the
you're-
residents are waiting. I don't see how you want to make the members of the public wait for detailed questions of project management and theft on-site receivables, or on-site deliveries. How is that part of the members of this council? This is a simple volleyball court we want done. It's a recreation opportunity for the community. People love this stuff. It's a great thing. And at the end of your cost, are you going to save $7,000, $2,000, $6,000? Do you want to be there and receive the product? I don't stop you from doing any of that. We've done some on-site things, but I just want to move the agenda forward. I don't want to be ignorant to your questions. I respect you as a councilman. You've been here for 3 years. You have 30 years' experience. I just want to move forward, table it, or vote it up or vote it down.
Okay, Council
That's all I'm
President. Okay, Council President, let me.
Yes,
'cause
you have the floor.
You expanded on this for me. First of all, I apologize to the public before, because I was not the one that put this Resolution 854 that took up 30 minutes of our conversation on a double meeting date, right? I did not do that. That was 30 minutes of your time. Right here, I think if I look at my phone, I spoke for 2.5 minutes. And as a councilman, I believe I have a right. In fact, Council President, I remember, said he had 12 minutes he was entitled to. So if I want to speak against this or what my issues are, I have every right to do that. I don't have a right to do project management. I don't want to do project management. I do not want to be up here investigating Amazon. That is your job, the administration's job, to make sure that our laws are enforced, okay? You should be dealing with Amazon. You should be dealing with potholes. You should be dealing with all the issues that most of the residents come up here for. Our job is to make laws, approve the budget, and make sure you're spending it wisely. That's our purpose here. So where I'm going with this is I'm questioning whether we're spending it wisely, because to me, the $43,000 seems like an exorbitant number for a volleyball court. Now, I'll tell you what made me look at this stuff a little bit more closely. I believe we approved a sign, a lit-up sign that said Edison, right? Had lights all around it. Does anybody recall what we paid for it? I think like 12 grand or something. But I'll tell you this. So I went to the Winter Wonderland, which was nice, and I looked at the sign that said Edison. It looked like our kids in high school cut it out of plywood, put it on a stand, and then strung the Christmas lights around it. It looked nothing like the drawing that was presented to us on the council. So when I seen that, I was so disappointed, that it looked like it was like a little homemade thing. Yes, I think I need to look at this stuff more deeply. And I think we all do, unless anybody here thought that that was like a professional sign that was made out there for the Winter Wonderland that says Edison.
Council President?
That's it,
Yes,
Council
thank you,
President.
Councilman Brescher. And thank you for yielding your time to the public.
Council President, just I want to suggest, because we have the residents waiting here, let's get to the agenda. If there is anything that's debatable, we can always pull the resolution for a separate vote, and we can debate at that point in time. And we can, at the end of, before approving the consent agenda, we can move the public portion at the end of the work session meeting, so seniors can talk here or the residents can talk here and they can enjoy their day.
Thank you, Councilman
Thank you,
Patil. Moving to the Department of Recreation, A and B and C. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, moving forward to the Chief of Fire. Approval of volunteer firefighter A and B. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, to the Chief of Police. A. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, moving to the Township Clerk. We have A and we're adding B, a resolution to appoint Lois Tarr to a Cultural Arts Committee, Resolution 853-122-022. Any questions or comments on 18? Hearing none, moving to council members. of the Planning Board. Councilmember Pointer, you have the floor.
Thank you, Council President. As with a little bit of sadness, I present my last Planning Board report for the year of 2022.
Hold on.
On Monday, December 19th, the Planning Board held its December monthly meeting with the following acted on. Resolutions. The 2023 calendar meeting dates were approved. P15-2022, 191 Talmadge Edison LLC preliminary and final site plan that was memorialized, along with P7-2020 Amin O. Katre preliminary and final site plan. P10-2022 Prologis Nixon Park preliminary site plan. Both resolutions were memorialized. Under old business, there were a couple of requests for 90-day extensions. P5240 W&G Realty LLC, 196 Easy Street. P5236 S&A Construction, 110 Clive Street. And P5243 Fox & Fox Development LLC. All were approved for 90-day extensions. P14-2022 Rivendell Lights LLC is being carried to January 18th. No renotice required. Under new business, P5249 Yogesh Shah and Dia Elkaneh, 21 Heman Street and 109 Tivid Lane. This applicant was before the board earlier in the year and was approved on a two-lot subdivision where two existing homes would remain and one new home would be constructed. The applicant sought to revise the boundary lines of the property to accommodate the proposed new single-family structure, which still met all bulk requirements as originally provided for. After hearing testimony with no one wishing to speak from the public, a motion was made and seconded to approve the revised subdivision lot lines, subject to the conditions as originally stipulated in the first hearing. The board voted in favor of the motion. P5250 Kinmar Developers LLC, 241 Brotherhood Street and Ranchwood Court. Applicant sought to subdivide an existing lot into 4 fully conforming lots, proposing to demolish the existing single-family dwelling for single-family dwellings to be built on the new proposed subdivided lots. No bulk variances were requested. The board heard testimony from the applicant's professionals regarding the architectural and engineering aspects of the project. The board requested several adjustments to the plan, including additional trees, clearer variations to the housing aesthetics per town code, as well as an adjustment to the rear corner lot home and the tying in of the new sidewalk along Ranchwood to the one along Brotherhood. After testimony, one individual from the public spoke on the application. With the public speaking portion closed, a motion was made and seconded to approve the application subject to the conditions set forth in the hearing and compliance to the board's professionals' reports. The board voted in favor of the application. P13-2022 Bellamere Capital LLC, 801 Route 1. Applicant sought preliminary and final site plan approval to construct a new one-story, 2,884 square foot car wash, including vacuum stalls, on a currently vacant 67,105 square foot property along Route 1. This is the property next to the upside-down car along the southbound side on Route 1. The only variance sought was for lot depth, where 125 is required, but the smallest point is 95, which is an existing nonconformity. However, other parts, when you averaged out the lot depth of the entire property, the average was 126. Several waivers regarding parking, 13 where 15 were required, trees via contribution to the tree fund, and parking space width on 2 spaces, 8 feet where 9 feet were required, where employees would park. The board heard testimony from the applicant's planner, engineer, architect, and traffic engineer, asking clarifying questions as to the traffic, noise, water usage, surrounding wetlands, and general operations. A couple of residents spoke, with one neighbor concerned about noise and possible light disturbance. As a condition of approval, the board requested plans to be modified to include a masonry foundation wall and fence along the entire rear of the property and sides to block out light and assist with noise reduction, considering the location of the parking spots with the vacuum equipment. It was also agreed upon that a noise study would be performed before and after construction to see differences and ensure noise would not exceed state maximums. After the public comment on the application was closed, a motion was made and seconded to approve the application. This was subject to the conditions set forth throughout the proceedings, including compliance with all recommendations as set forth in the board professionals report. The board voted in favor of the application. Finally, P4-2022, BJ's Wholesale Club, Inc., 1000 Route 1. Applicant sought preliminary and final site plan approval to construct a 6-pump gasoline station with an associated kiosk as an accessory use to the existing warehouse club, as well as modifications to the existing parking area, upgrades to the front vestibule, and reconfiguration of the interior building. One variance was requested for maximum impervious coverage, 84.18%, where 80% is allowed. However, this was already a non-conforming, and the proposed reduced the amount of impervious coverage compared to the existing conditions. Waivers were also sought for parking space requirement, tree replacement, with contributions to be made to the tree fund, and sign quantity. The board heard testimony from the applicant's planner, engineer, architect, and traffic engineer, asking clarifying questions as to the car queuing for the pump stations, how the new layout at the vestibule would work, and parking and traffic demands and concerns with this type of operation. After testimony, one individual from the public spoke on the application. With the public speaking portion closed, a motion was made and seconded to approve the application subject to the conditions set forth in the hearing and compliance to the board's professionals' reports. The board voted in favor of the application. The next meeting is scheduled for Monday, January 16th, 7 p.m. here in council chambers. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman Porter. Great job. Thank you. Moving forward, Madam Clerk, on unfinished business, ordinance for further consideration, public hearing, and final adoption. Ordinance 2170, 2022. Any comments from council members? Hearing none, moving forward to 2171, 2022. Ordinance amending the code, the Township of Edison, concerning public hiring and promotions. Any questions or comments from council members? Hearing none, moving to communications. We have an email received from Ron Loeffler regarding zoning process. Next, discussion items. From my left, Councilmember Pointer.
Thank you, Council President. Considering this is the last day of my rookie season here on the council, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone. It's been quite an experience. I want to just mention a couple of the items that we have accomplished over the year. Specifically, working with my colleagues here, I know that I worked with Councilman Brescher and Councilman Patil in regards to several potential contracts with the fire department equipment and tool supply and SDL, which actually reduced those not to exceed amounts by approximately $400,000. To Council President Coyle and Vice President Chip Freeman for your teamwork and guidance in working with the numerous subcommittees that we were a part of. I gained a lot of knowledge and understanding, and I look forward to using this information to help further the administration's agenda and to assist the residents with whatever concerns may arise. And to Councilwoman Harris and Councilman Patel for the numerous hours that we spent in reviewing the agenda items every other week to make sure that we were as educated as possible for any of the items that were brought forth before the council. I know a lot of times these items are not necessarily seen by the public, but we've had so many hours of communication with one another on numerous topics, and I am very appreciative of your time and efforts throughout the year. While my role may have been minimal to an extent, I'm extremely proud to have been part of the council for several firsts in Edison. We increased recognition for our cultural diversity with flag-raising ceremonies, appointed the first female judge of Indian descent in Edison, and hired our first 2 female firefighters in the township. Additionally, the administration also established numerous events, including Juneteenth and Diwali celebrations, a house music festival, and holiday season lighting extravaganza. These, along with the expansion of other annual events such as the 4th of July and Halloween trunk or treat, I feel help foster a stronger community. I look forward to continuing these efforts next year. While it's been mentioned throughout the year, the township, along with partnerships with other governing bodies, whether county, state, or federal, has taken the necessary steps to facilitate improvements throughout the town. Some of these you may be familiar with, but they include a new home for the water and sewer utility, the expansion of the Toth Center, which I believe was announced today that we are receiving a $3 million grant for those improvements. and numerous projects which were authorized for Papiani Park, including the Splash Park, which I know Council Vice President has been an advocate for, the Recreation Center, and the football field improvements. I'd also like to mention that the North Edison Library was also approved for its expansion. We've taken a lot of steps to try to increase resident involvement. I thank the administration for asking me to help revitalize the Historic Preservation Commission and for the creation of the Cultural Arts Commission. I also want to thank the council for their support in the creation of the Smart City Advisory Committee. I look forward to seeing whether or where other committees and commissions such as these can be created to utilize the knowledge and skill set of residents in the township. I don't want to take up too much time because I could keep on going on and on, but at the end of the day, I'm extremely proud of the accomplishments that we've had this year. It hasn't always been the smoothest of paths, but that's to be expected. So again, I just want to say thank you to everyone for placing faith in me and being here, working with the administration, working with all the department heads, working with my colleagues here. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Porter. Councilman Porter pretty much gave a summation of the entire council, so I don't think anybody has anything to say. Meeting adjourned. Councilmember Patil.
Thank you, Council President. First of all, thank you, Mayor, administration, for various initiatives. Few things that never happened in Edison. You made it happen. Thank you, Edison Police, Fire Department for keeping us safe and sound. Thank you, DPW, for plowing our snows, making sure that the residents are taken care. And thank you all Edison employees, including the Water Department, Finance Department, Zoning, Planning, etc. And we have a wonderful team upstairs who are doing a phenomenal job for the taxpayers. I'll not take too long, but wish everyone happy holidays, happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Patil. Councilman Patel.
I just want to take this time to thank everybody for making it through the first year. I want to thank my council colleagues. I have learned a lot over this course of this year, and especially Councilman Pointer, who has been my source of knowledge for a lot of the issues that I have, and Councilwoman Margot Harris, who I go to for great counsel, and all the time that we spent together on dealing with issues. I would love to get to know some of the other council members a lot better over the course of the few years that we will be on the dais. And I also want to echo all the statements that Councilman Pointer made, that I'm proud of all those things that we have done. And one of the best things that I'm looking forward to is competition to optimum and the update to the master plan, that the finalization of the master plan. I think that will solve a lot of the issues that the residents are having and facing. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Brescher.
Two things. Amazon, as long as we have the chief here. From what I understand is you can't issue them tickets for noise, correct? Right.
Correct.
And is that because in our ordinance, we have said that it's the health department's job?
That's correct.
And Sonia, you don't have the health department going out to Amazon at night, correct, to issue violations?
We have, typically speaking, they get dispatched, so they're on call.
They don't go every day, though.
Not unless there's a call through dispatch.
Oh, so if the residents call dispatch, right, you're going to dispatch the health department to go there and issue a violation if the noise levels are too high? Or you're going to send the... Let me tell you the problem I have. We had this problem with, I think it was Able or something. And what happened was the police department went down to the site. The police department made notes that, yes, there was noise or, yes, there was loading and unloading. They sent it to the health department. The health department issued violations. From what I understand, that's not what we're doing with Amazon. So it doesn't happen. Like the residents tell me every day that there's this noise issue, which is above the decibel level. That's by state law or Edison law even. And our police department does go out there, but they can't enforce anything, and they're not sending, I guess, those complaints to the health department. So the health department is only issuing, like, so they issue the violation, and then they wait a month till they go to court. And then they go to court, and Amazon pleads guilty, and they pay $50 or whatever the fine is, right? But what we did with Able was we did this on a daily basis to show that these people are not good neighbors to Edison. And then we went to court, and the court basically got able to adhere to our laws. So we're not enforcing our laws, and whether the disconnect is with the police department or with the health department, or it isn't council's responsibility, as my council president said, right? I'm not supposed to be here managing. I'm supposed to be holding, you guys accountable. So how do you anticipate fining Amazon for the noise that the residents tell me happens every day? And like, I got texts for every day. How do we take care of this moving forward?
Councilman, with all due respect, there is a process. It's been an ongoing process. I'd have to speak more in depth with legal regarding this, but there is no disconnect with the police department and or the health department. You're on the email chain, I understand. When we get the complaints, they call headquarters, we respond, we document everything, and then from there we're supposed to move forward. It's my understanding that there is the process of working with the management of Amazon right now to rectify and remedy the problem. I do understand it's been going on for quite a while, but there are behind the scenes negotiations going on for Amazon to remedy the problem. That's what I believe is happening at this moment.
All right.
Chief is correct in saying so. There is a process and there's no disconnect.
Then, okay, let me just ask the administration a question.
Not to interrupt, sir, just, but you're correct in what you say. If they're issued a summons, they pay the summons, and that's it, because it's a large corporation moving forward. But I think the relationship that we're trying to establish with the people that are in charge there is critical at this moment. And like I said, I will be speaking personally more in depth with our legal team also.
Okay, so let me just tell you my concern and the concern to the administration. We have a committee on this. This committee's tried to get in there. We can't get in there, right? Chief, you can go there. You can get in. From what I understand, people from the administration have been able to get in. They've called. They can't get us to go in and look. We can't speak to them. I asked for a sound report to show what the sound levels were. I can't get that, right? Because no one's making it, and we can't do it. These poor people are out on the hook there, and I don't see what's going on, except you're telling me that there's some kind of secret op meeting thing happening, except the council's not privy to this. So I find that a little distressing, in saying that maybe not you, somebody else, right? Somebody is having meetings to discuss this, and the committee that's looking at this, we know nothing about it. So who's the secret people in this meeting?
Councilman, there's nothing nefarious here in any way. I feel the pain of the people that I speak to. And again, you're on the email chain with the residents there, as I am. We do have a liaison from the police department that is speaking directly with the residents that are impacted by the noise there. So it's no secret, but we have members of the police department that are interacting with them.
Well, let me ask you a question, Chief.
Sure.
Why can't you do the same thing you did for Able? I was part of that email chain also, all right? So you guys went out there, you made a report. You sent me a copy of your report, or maybe not you, maybe it was somebody else, but I received a copy of your report. I followed that report going to the health department to see that then they issued violations. I don't have that now with the new administration, okay? So I don't know where that's where I'm saying there's a disconnect. So you did something that I thought was fantastic before, right? And now I'm not getting the same results, and I just don't know why. I'm trying to figure it out. Why are we doing something different than what we did with Able? Could you explain to the administration what we did with Able?
I don't know that we're doing anything different. Like I said, the only thing I could tell you at this point, because you're bringing it up, and again, you're on the email chain, you see everything that I see and everything that goes out. I will talk more in depth with legal to see if there's anything else going on there that we don't know.
Okay,
and if I can find that out for you, certainly I will be in touch with you, and then, I can notify you.
Then can I get those reports
Sure.
every night when they go out there? Because I haven't gotten that from you guys. And I did for Able. I have a record.
I'd be more
of
than
it.
happy to look into that for you, absolutely.
All right, yeah, if you could just send them over to me for the last week or so.
And just on that subject, Councilman Brescher, I understand your point, and to the administration, if we can prepare an action plan of what could be done on a weekly basis, I think the difference for the chief on this to Amazon is that Able was underneath a different zone. As we pulled out that zone in that area, the noise complaints, no unloading or loading could happen before 7 a.m. So that was a little bit easier to monitor, and I believe the chief had traffic there, and I think Sergeant Semino handled a lot of that with Chief Dudash. So I think there could have been a little bit different play out of what the outcome was easily, where we're doing with Amazon in an area that's zoned through revitalization. I know they're exceeding the noise. There's no question. I mean, it's ridiculous what's happening there, but I'll certainly ask the administration to have an action plan of what can be done that's different than Able, that doesn't fit into the same criteria, but still needs the same point to be addressed, and that's what you're asking for.
Okay.
Okay?
Now, I have one other question. This one I'm going to go to Council President or Councilman Pointer or the attorney. But I noticed on our agenda all the time, we have a report from the Planning Board. My question is, why do we get a report from the Planning Board? I mean, it's quite extensive, and if the public wanted to know what was happening on the Planning Board, they would just watch the video from the Planning Board. And the Planning Board doesn't fit under our jurisdiction. That would be the mayor's jurisdiction. So if we were going to give a report, shouldn't it be by the zoning board? And this is just a technical question.
That's my problem. That relies on the council president. If I chose to, I can ask the member of the planning board to just submit a written report and have additional reports provided to the public on the desk there. So that's my choice, and that could be corrected if the new council president wants to choose different. I definitely understand. It's a repeat.
Every year, it seems like the same thing, and I just didn't understand.
I mean,
that's all. Okay.
I think Councilman Pointer does a really good job.
He does.
I mean, honestly,
he should be reappointed.
So we're hoping he can hold a few positions next year, but we'll see. But I understand. So that's really relies on the council president. So later, you can certainly ask the next council president to yield that as a written report only. Thank you, Councilman Brescher.
Yeah, I'd just like to wish everyone a Happy New Year moving forward.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes. First, I'd like to thank Councilman Pointer, Patil, and Patel for leaving me with scraps for my talking points for this discussion. Thank you. But on a very serious note, I want to also say how honored I've been to serve on this council. It's really been a wonderful experience. It's been a learning experience, and I value all of my council colleagues. And as Councilman Pointer and Patel said, our Sunday night discussions prior to council meetings are invaluable, absolutely invaluable. It's a great way to navigate our way through agendas, sometimes like this particular one, which we didn't expect to be quite so tricky and so substantial. It's extremely helpful. So I want to thank them for their time and for their support. I want to thank the Council President Coyle for herding cats at times, and some lions and tigers and bears as well. And Council Vice President Ship Freeman also for her contributions to the leadership here. I started this year saying that, I like all of my soon-to-be council colleagues. I like them all very much so far. And here we are at the end of the year, and I still like all of my council colleagues. I'm happy to report. I want to thank the mayor, the administration, for really hitting the ground running. And it's been at warp speed that so much has been accomplished. And Councilman Pointer certainly alluded to all of those things. I don't think there's anything that he missed in that accounting. I thank our clerks, both Cheryl and Marlena, for all the tireless work they do, and we appreciate that every single day. Of course, to all the department heads, to Sonia for this is your rookie season here as well, and I thank you for a job well done. I mostly want to thank the public, you who show up. Here you are on this last council meeting of the year. And it's you who help us to be better lawmakers. It's you who hold our feet to the fire. And whether you're actually here in person or you're watching us on YouTube, we thank your involvement. We thank all of the questions you ask and the concerns that you raise. You really do make us better lawmakers. I'm excited in this coming year now that we've formed the Cultural Arts Committee, and I'm real happy and excited about the people who are going to be making up this committee. I'm excited for the project that I want to see, which is going to be the Cultural and Performing Arts Center that I hope we can get shovels in the ground at some time before my term. So I, too, want to wish everybody a happy, healthy, prosperous new year, and thank you for all you do and all that you contribute. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Harris. And I'll be brief for those who are waiting, because I know that the Claire Barton Library is a topic of the hour, and I'm sure flowers in Claire
Council
Barton are
President?
also. Oh, Council Vice President, go ahead. I'm sorry. I was cutting you right over you. It came to me next.
Whoa. At all.
I apologize, Council Vice President. Hey, the women are in charge.
I'm still wondering why we would have a meeting during the festivities of the holidays. I'm like, whoa, this is during
I'm blaming the
Kwanzaa,
clerk,
Christmas,
'cause I have no one to
Hanukkah,
blame.
New Year's, and even Three Kings Day that we're here. And I would like to start off on a good note. I'd like the people to mark down February 25th and March 18th as two programs I'm going to have for you during the 2023 year. And I know that I am a servant of the people, and I know that's what this job entails. So, we're supposed to look out for your finance. We're also supposed to look out for everything else that happens within the town to make this town better for each and every one of you. One of my programs that I started was a senior program, whereas that I collect gift cards and give out to people who are in need. And if anybody else knows people that are in need, you just send me the names and I'll send stuff to people. Some people had told me this year, as I gave them cards, that this year was a little harder for them because of inflation. They said they didn't need a card before, but they needed one now. These are some of the people, and some people didn't leave their name, but some of the people who gave out some cards were like the Kiwanis Club, Lisa Semensky, Lenny Sendelsky, Ray Piero, Mr. and Mrs. Anthony Rusamano, Mr. and Mrs. Maria Orchid, and June Lene from Mary Kay, and Dan O'Gorman. Mary Kay would like to give out more stuff to this community, and we would like to have a more involvement in the senior program, because some of the senior places that we have, not just talking about our personal ones, but other ones that are in the town, they have cut back on activities like bingos and different other things that goes on. And the teenagers, our great teenagers and stuff that are in our high schools, want to make that difference. They want to be able to come in and volunteer and fill up that need for people. That's what they want to do. And I like working with every single one of my council people. Everybody has their own personality. That's what I like. I like everybody to have their own personality and then come together as a whole at all. And I think that John Pointer did an outstanding job. Boy, he took some good notes on the planning board. Oof. And, for us to follow along with. But, everybody up here, like people get disturbed by different things, but everybody means well. Everybody wants to go forward. And some people are here about the library, and I promised the people that I would give them a report regarding the library, and you will get a deeper report, too, on the next time. On the library situation, what I have right now is the fact that the library will move to Amboy Avenue, to the front of it. And then they'll start working on the other part. But this is what happened. They said with blighted stores out front, it would be better to put a library in there. Now, the reason why I'm also talking about the library is because when I got on the library board, I think it was was it 9 years ago, or whatever. So we had the 3 libraries. Well, we were sitting there back and forth, and I think Councilman Patel was one of the liaisons to the library at that particular time. So what we did to try to increase people in the Clara Barton section, we said, hi, why do they have short hours and the other 2 libraries have long hours? So we extended those hours for the people to make more people come to the library, to make more people become involved. All right. So through that, they had the data and stuff that it didn't increase that much. But believe me, guys, I understand. I'm a reading specialist. I'm in the field. In my house, I have like a mini library. So I understand things that are dear to the community. Now, when you move the library up to the front, that's not back in that corner, stuck way in the corner, it's more visible. The kids from Herbert Hoover are able to see it because a lot of times people did not know where that library was. And so we made sure they put signs there letting people know where the library was. We put signs there and everything. And the people directly across the street from the library, they all have their resident parking because they didn't want people to park on that side of the street. So, and then inside the library, it's been continuous problems they had with elevators there was always some type of mechanical problem going on with the library. So I understand everybody, and I understand some people don't want it moved to that particular point, but I'm just giving you my report. Now, if you want to get a more extensive report on January 12th at the actual Clara Barton Library, you will be able to meet with the mayor, who will give you the complete report, because I remember let me see, how many years ago, maybe 10 years ago or more? 2010, because I remember it was the first day I was put on the library board, and I was in this room right here with constituents screaming at me. I was like, whoa, hey, what's going on? They were screaming and saying that they did not want the library to be closed. At that time, it was going to be closed. At this time, they're not trying to close it or take anything away from your community. What they want to do is they want to move it to Front Street. And
We
if
have to
you
have
guys
order, I'm
have the
sorry.
ability to object to that and talk strongly to our mayor and take care of all of that on January 12th. Most of the people up here, they don't have the direct answers that the mayor would give to you. So the mayor and the chief of staff will meet with you on January 12th, and I'm just giving you a brief synopsis, so therefore you'll know what questions to ask when you get there. 7 o'clock, January 12th, at the Clara Barton Library. It will be open for all the constituents to go to on January 12th at 7 p.m. Make sure you have all your questions and all your information and stuff that you need at that particular time.
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. No, I'm not trying to disrespect the members that are here from the residents, but this is a discussion just for the council vice president. We
Yes.
have a time to the public. I'm sad that it's going to be longer than you want, but you'll have a full 6 minutes each to go over the entire questions of anything you have, and I apologize for that. Council Vice President,
Yes,
finish?
I was going to tell them that the more in-depth questions and stuff that you would like to ask, those will definitely be answered on January 12th at 7 p.m. All right?
Thank you, Council Vice President. I'll move on to my last comments, and I'll be brief to just first, again, thank. You okay over there, Bob? Okay. First, I want to thank my council colleagues for supporting the administration's agenda with the mayor. I think for those who are listening out there, it takes a council that's willing to see the vision together with the mayor and administration. If you don't have 4 votes on this council, nothing gets done. So when and if council looks to change, those are great opportunities to change. But without having a consistency in your town, things don't move forward. And I'm proud to say our new council colleagues, we worked cohesive together, and I want to thank each and every one of them for working with the council president. Although some people may hear a lot of questions or hear some discourse on this council, I'm proud to announce that over close to 1,000 resolutions, this council voted, voted together to pass each and every one of them. Only 12 were voted against, but they still passed. So this administration, this council did move this town forward with a lot of great things. If you think about the mayor, Sam Joshi, and his energy to move some great projects forward, he did so. I mean, those were mentioned by Councilman Pointer. And when you think about your township moving forward, you don't want gridlock. You want things to happen. And this council and administration certainly proved that. Some great things are coming together in Edison, and I'm truly proud of that. So when you look at the value of what you're spending in taxes, you want to see what's being done in my community, and things are being done. And for those who are listening and are here from Clara Barton, I know we're going to hear a lot about the library, and I won't stop you from talking about beautification in Clara Barton at all. Okay? So, and I have to mention as much, and I'll piggyback on the library, everything matters to the appraisal value of where we live and work and play. Beautification certainly takes a big part in that, and so does the library. But when you look at beautification throughout the town, I've spearheaded that with other council members, and I thank them for their support. And I think this truly impacts the appraisal value of your home and what you've invested in for your lifetime. It changes the mental health of the community. It changes the well-being of the community. When you sell your home, people want to know you do not live in a blighted area. They want to see improvements. They want to see events and things happening in your downtown. I'm excited that Clara Barton is our downtown, and great things have been happening there. And this mayor and the prior mayor have added other opportunities throughout the town. And I'm looking forward to more improvements happening, not just in our parks, but in different parts of this area, on Woodbridge Avenue, on 27, on Oak Tree Road, on Inman Avenue, on New Dover Road. And this takes time. But I think we are in a good place here in the council, and we have another year with the same members here today, and I'm quite certain that we will move forward and continue the same. Just speaking of the opportunity that came to the agenda that we're going to vote on later,
Council President, I just need 30 seconds.
but I'm still speaking.
Oh, I thought, okay, you're done. You're
Okay.
moving to the next. Okay, go continue.
I won't stop without you. The agreement that came forward that we had several questions on is an agreement where our hand is forced by the DEP to do this work. This is work is strictly for the sewer and the pump stations. This is work that's been neglected for the past 30 years. This township has received revenue to improve your sewer, to run your sewer, and the administration prior to that made little investment in that. So today, those years are just adding up. One pump station I can speak of was built in 1947. So the impact of that pump station was for the residents of that area at that time. So imagine the difference we have today from 1947. I don't want to speak to some friends of mine that are in the room, but they may know that time when things were different here. But things need to be improved. I support that. I worked with 3 other council members fighting to make sure we made this investment in the sewer and the water. And I think so far we've made a great investment, and things are going to change and improvements are going to happen. But the agreement we have before us is with the DEP and the township to enter into an agreement to solve the problems we have set forth. If we don't sign that agreement, we will be forced. They will make the roll. The DEP will force our hand. They will do the work and get it done for us at their terms, their time, and their money. So this is a point that we went from 5 years to 9 years, which I think is a great mitigation of a stretch of our time, and I'm looking forward to those improvements. So, our hat off to the Sewer and Water Department that's done some remarkable accomplishments, and they've hired people, they have new employees, those employees have been trained in the trades, they can work for another union, and they can get the jobs you want to raise a family, good paying wages in that type of department. Maybe not here, and we're hoping to increase those wages, but certainly they move on with a skill set to go to other places, which is remarkable. So I thank my council colleagues for listening to this today, and I apologize. This is last minute, and that's on me. but this is something that's been ticking like a time bomb for over 20 years. And I think we're on a course to get things done. We're going to borrow money from the iBank, and we're going to have that that's going to be forgiven, which happens in most towns. So I think it's an incredible opportunity, and I'm looking forward to this being passed on today's agenda. That's all I have to discuss. Again, I want to thank our colleagues here to move our agenda forward, and thank everyone. Councilman Patil.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to spend 30 seconds to acknowledge the a board member, Joe Romano. He's attending the meeting. We have the members of the Boy Scout. I think they are learning attending this meeting to fulfill the requirement of getting the government experience. And I miss two departments, actually, Ken Robertson and Hank Bignell. Again, thank you for your service. Thank you, Council President.
Yes, thank you, Councilman Patil. So right at this time, we're going to begin the actual meeting of the agenda right now. We're going to move forward. I know this sounds redundant to you, but this is a combined meeting. You just saw the work session, but we're going to push through a lot of stuff, and you'll be speaking shortly. Madam Clerk, 23, approval of the minutes to the council members. Can I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any nays? The motion is approved. Number 24, approval of the volunteer firefighter. Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
And can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion's approved. Council President Marks, we're skipping that. Joe spoke enough. And Mr. Romano, thank you for being here today. I wasn't picking on you from 1943. 26, administrative agenda, motion to accept Mayor Sam Joe. She's appointing the Elizabeth Conway, Stephen Eagle to Human Relations.
Motion to accept?
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion's approved. Unfinished business, ordinance for further consideration, public hearing, and further adoption. Clerk, read ordinance.
Ordinance of the Township of Edison authorizing execution of a right-of-way agreement between Comcast Business Communications LLC and the Township of Edison to permit the installation, use, and maintenance of telecommunication facilities within public rights-of-way for purpose of providing telecommunication services.
This ordinance only is open to the public to speak on this ordinance only. Any members of the public that would like to speak on this Comcast ordinance? Seeing none, a motion to close the public portion.
Motion to close.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The public portion is closed. Can I have a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Council comments? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Who was the second? I only got
Councilman Patel.
Okay. Councilmember Brusher.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Coyle.
Yes. Clerk, read ordinance.
Ordinance amending the Code of the Township of Edison concerning police hiring and promotion.
This hiring promotion ordinance is open to the public. Any questions or comments from the public on this ordinance only? Seeing none, can I have a motion to close the public portion?
Motion to close.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The public portion is now closed. Can I have a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt?
Can I have a second?
Second.
Any council comments? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Brusher.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Coyle.
Yes. 28. At this time, we're going to open the public for the resolutions only here. These resolutions are set forth in the agenda, and at the next point, you can comment on anything you like, but this is only on the ordinance. I apologize if you do come up on the resolutions only, so it's just for the resolutions. So if you come up and I ask you to sit down, I apologize, but it's only on the resolutions. Mr. Diamond.
Bruce Diamond, 74 Calvert. Maybe I didn't hear correctly. The sound wasn't so good this evening, but I think you were saying 617 is going to be a self-storage. That's the purpose of the redevelopment plan or development plan?
The Beauty Rest Motel.
Is it supposed to be a self-storage facility? That's what y'all seem to be debating, but I couldn't hear very clearly.
That's what's in the redevelopment agreement. Hank, do you want to speak on that for a second or no?
Well, if it's that simple, it's that simple.
Well,
He doesn't have to speak.
yeah, okay.
No disrespect to Hank.
Yeah.
My only comment is, if we're cleaning up Route 27, why are we putting a damn self-storage facility on Route 1? That's insane, absurd, and silly.
Thank you, Mr. Diamond.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments on the resolutions? Ms. Romano?
Joe Romano, Edison, New Jersey. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Your time is up.
Thank you very much. Someday I hope to repay you for that. I heard something about a volleyball court. And does anybody know anything about errors and omissions? When we order a bid and a bid comes in and we accept it, there's a contract that the council or the Board of Ed, we agree to that. And we take and agree to that, that means that we agree to the terms. Now, if there's more money that it's going to cost, they agreed to this. We as taxpayers agreed to pay this price. I stand here against that. I know it's going to pass. I want the volleyball courts. I want the recreation. But we as taxpayers have to stand up and say, you said it was going to be this price. Now you come and tell me, well, inflation or cost overruns or, you know, like we couldn't get the product in. You agreed to this price. You asked the public agreed to that. I don't know why errors and omissions is not handed out to the engineering department, the planning department, the construction companies, I'm sorry. Why is that we, the taxpayers, we, the public, have to constantly take and bow down because they say it costs too much money when we agreed to this price? We, the taxpayers, you, our representatives, agreed to that number. Somebody ought to pay for that, not us. I know that I'm standing here and I'm yelling at the moon. But someday, you never know, all of you will take an answer to this. The excesses, you will pay for this with our votes. Thank you for everything. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Do I have any time left?
Good to see you. No, of course.
Thanks.
You have plenty of time.
Have a nice day.
Thank you for yielding your time, Mr. Romano. Congratulations on your board member seat. Yes, member of the public. You have to state your name and address, please.
Okay, I'm Jean Martin, 13 Waltuma Avenue in Edison. I live 1 block off Amboy Avenue and 2.5 blocks from the library. You mentioned the flowers on Amboy, and I just wanted to make sure, pardon?
What ordinance are you speaking, what resolution are you speaking
In relation
on?
to Resolution R-842, session of a special needs program.
no
I'm
problem.
assuming that's what's going to go into the existing library?
Yeah, this is a resolution authorizing the use of competitive contracting for the concession for special needs. Yes, this is
Right,
for that
it
study.
impacts the Clara Barton Library, correct?
Yes.
Right. I don't understand why, if the library is tucked away and hard to find, Do you think a physical therapy or special needs program is going to be any easier to find? Are they going to put up bigger signs on Amboy Avenue? It doesn't make a difference where that library is located. That's our community center. We use that for a lot more than just taking books out. I'd like to know how the traffic for that library is measured. Is it measured by the number of books that are taken out? Is someone counting bodies in and out? Like, where is that coming from? I know that it's probably not you guys, it's probably the library board, but I really feel like nobody's really done the research on this space. We found out about it 2 weeks ago. It's already a done deal. The library is closing at the end of the week tomorrow. So we're late to the party. The people who are most impacted were not told anything at all about it. And that really hurts. That hurts as a member of the Clara Barton community, that someone from North Edison just kind of randomly, the mayor, whoever, randomly decided, oh, let's close it and we'll sell it or we'll rent it to these other people. What about community? What about my community center? What about my library? We just bought a new car. My husband spent a lot of time in that library the last 2-3 months with the consumer reports and doing research and figuring out, now I don't have that. What am I going to do? Pay for it online? Or go to the North Edison branch, which is like 20 minutes to a half hour from my home? Slowly but surely, all the community things in my area are being taken away. And then I hear that there's an expansion of North Edison Library. Well, good for them, but that money could have gone to Clara Barton for programs, for more visibility. You're right, it is tucked away, but people in the community know it's there. If you want a wider community access for that library, make it more visible online, in programs, in the Criterion, put ads, these programs are going on. I see stuff like that for the North Edison branches all the time. I very rarely see anything for Clara Barton. And when they were trying to close it in 2010, we asked them about programs, and they said, oh, nobody comes. Well, it's 12, 13 years later. Can we try again? Can we try and get more traffic besides just children after school? Because as an adult, I'd love to go in and hear about the history of Clara Barton or, get involved with the Greenway. But that's a community center. It's not just the library. It's not only about the books. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Council President?
Yes, member. Yes, Council.
Can I just,
Yes, sure.
a point of clarification, just so that it's not misconstrued. I know I mentioned the North Edison Library and the improvements. Just so that it's clear, that was through a grant application approval that has happened. So what I mentioned was not in reflection to township resources being used for that. So I just want to make sure that's understood. Thank you.
Any other members of the public that would like to speak? Yes. I'm sorry, sure. Yeah, I asked for her. I pointed to her first. I apologize.
I understand we're just commenting on the resolutions right
Your
now,
name and
right?
address. You can comment on that resolution 842, which still
Okay.
apply to the library.
So I just really have a question about this resolution, and I can come up later with the public comments. So I guess.
Your name and address, please. I'm
Oh, sorry. Sue Malone Barber, 85 Pleasant Avenue. I live right across the street from the library. So one of my questions was, who's running this learning center? And this is a resolution to put that out for bid. Do I understand that right? Yes?
Sonia, the question is the resolution, is it to contract with someone to run the special needs program?
It is not. It is just simply to start the process in order to be able to put a bid out. Through
But
competitive.
it will be bid. It will be bid out?
Correct.
Okay, so it's not going to be a township-run facility. It will be a privately run facility using township, using a township facility?
It would be run through a third party, but it's a contract with the town and a third party. There'd be stipulations, obviously.
stipulations, like what happens if it doesn't work out?
Of course, it's a contract, so everything really is negotiable. Between the maintenance and the actual programming itself. So those are all on the back end right now being worked out.
So is the building going to be sold to the contractor?
No, it is not. It is a township-owned building. There's no intent at all to sell the building.
Okay, and I have to say that, like I said, I'll come up later, but I wanted to understand this resolution. So it will be sourced, you will get bids on who can run the center.
Correct, based on certain specifications.
Okay. Okay, that's all my questions right now.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
I'm Albertina Thompson. I'm at 92 3rd Street, and I'm in reference to R 842-122022, the Clara Blurton Library. As many of the other residents here indicated, I learned about it in the newspaper. We get reverse 911s constantly. Why didn't somebody in this chamber or in the mayor's office alert us that the library is closing or being repurposed? Where's the impact study? Pleasant is very narrow. If you're going to have special needs children in either buses or their parents' cars going up and down Pleasant, making a left on Hoover, going back down Waltuma, what happens to the traffic on Amboy Avenue? Around 3 o'clock, I don't go on Amboy Avenue anymore because the junior high's getting out. What about the cost? Now we're talking about retrofitting a library that may or may not stay as a special needs facility. So you've got the cost of moving a library to Amboy Avenue, which has no parking other than 2 spots in front of that retail space. The cost of retrofitting a library, the cost of renting. Now what happens with that retail space if the person who is renting to us increases the rent? And don't tell me this is grant money. Grant money is another way of saying taxpayer dollars. Whether it's grant money from the Fed, the state, or the municipality, you only get your dollars through taxpayers, whether it's business taxes, residential taxes. So all of this is coming out of my pocket. And as one of the other ladies said, it's more than just taking books out of a library. There's seniors who go there to read newspapers and magazines we can no longer afford. There's youngsters that go there I see them in their little study groups. There's some seniors that go there to use the computers. And I understand what you're saying, it's hidden away, but that's part of the beauty of it, is that you have to come into our neighborhood. And putting a library on Amboy Avenue in a retail space is not a library. And everything here has a cost to it. I don't see a cost associated to this resolution. And what if this school, if we're bidding this out, what if it doesn't last? Then what do we do with this building? Move the library back at, again, cost to the taxpayers? Leave the library alone. There's got to be hundreds of places at Raritan Center that you can rent out to these special needs children, or schools that have openings. There's got to be other buildings than taking a library that is well used and turning it into a special needs center on a bid that may or may, as someone said before, what if it doesn't pan out? Then what do we do? Thank you for your time.
Gentleman in the back.
Hello, Shegun Ashin, 142 Hoover Avenue. The same resolution, so R 842. It seems a bit inappropriate that that the resolution is being put out to get a contract, or to get a contract for this to be done without any sort of consultation from the community, right? So I don't see why we have a resolution for this to happen when we haven't actually discussed with the community what's happening with the current library. So it seems like we're getting the cart before the horse in this case. So I think I'd like to just make a comment about that. That's all I've got. Thanks.
I'm sorry, hold one second. She's been waiting. Yes, please, come up.
Camion Money, 79 6th Street,
Welcome.
Edison, New Jersey. The same resolution?
Yes,
We're against
842.
And I think the most ideal thing to do was before telling the children in the school and going on the newspaper and promising things to people. I think Josh should at least talk to us. Let us know that he wants to take his library to the road. This is the same Amboy that we as parents avoid to go. The road is busy. When we take children out, that particular library happens to be the only place where you can just decide to go and walk. People don't go through Amboy again because Amboy is as busy as New York. So taking the library out of that place with 2 parking spaces, with some contradicting information from both Patricia and those people when we wrote to them, telling us they have a lease of a year. It's just telling the community that, oh, that's fine. After a year, the library is gone. Because we have seen it happening before, we really do not have faith in anything that is said again because we've seen it happening. Okay, now there will be a special need program in that thing. The same problems they are telling us that is happening to the library will soon be applicable to it because the special need program needs special things. It needs buses, it needs a lot of things. The road is busy. Sometimes people should just, the mayor should, drive around us so that he will see what is going on in the community. If I want to tell you, Clarabatin is a forgotten community. There's nothing happening here. Taking the library away and giving a huge, this is a blank check to him to do this, that would be like punishing us. Thank you.
Any other members that want to speak on the library issue? You've been waiting for a while. And I'm sorry, you can't. Yes, yeah, we're going to get to that. Yes, you definitely will get to that. Okay, Ms. McGad, on the resolutions only.
Good evening, AJ Benz, Edison, New Jersey. The library, I think I posted this on my Instagram. I just want to make sure we're going to make this right for the library. We want to make sure this is appropriate. And with the resolution, what is it, 842? You want to talk about special needs? I'm special needs. What special needs, they need it. I'm autistic with Asperger's, and I want to make sure that this library is appropriate, including with our special needs. I want to make sure this is it's not contaminated, or we got to double check everything before we start making. Is this the final decision? This is what we really wanted. Speak to the town. You guys been doing this for. Thank you for speaking up. And I have nothing else to say. Give what the township residents what they want for the people. Thank you very much.
Any members of the public that want to speak on the resolutions only? You will, okay, sure. And again, there will be an open public session to speak about anything you'd like, in addition to the library.
Thank you. My name is Michelle Reed. I'm a resident of Metuchen at 20 McCoy Avenue near the Tano Mall. And I, on a daily basis, go to the Clara Barton Library. I've been doing it for many, many years. I'm a power reader. I'm an MBA in finance and international business. I work for a large corporate public company in New York City. I raised my children at Clara Barton Library. I'm devoted to the library, and I found out in a very kind of odd way that the library, oh, by the way, is closing. How did it happen? There's been absolutely no communication. Everything's been done in a vacuum. So when I contacted the Township of Edison, since I'd like to know, because all of the libraries in Middlesex County, as we know, are in a consortium. That consortium is in a larger consortium, which is the state of New Jersey. So if I need to pull a volume, I can just go to Clara Barton. They can research where I can find it. It may be down in Trenton, it could be at Rutgers, in the tombs or in the stacks, depending where it is. It could be brought up from North Carolina. I've had stuff brought all over, brought to Clara Barton Library. So it's a great resource, especially for students that are learning how to do research, because it's right in their own neighborhood. And I have personally witnessed many, many seniors bringing not only themselves there, but their grandchildren that they may be raising by themselves to that resource within their own community, because it's a walkable library. You don't even have to have a car to get there. I don't have a car, I walk there, okay? So I'm here to object actually to the resolution because we didn't know about it. The patrons did not know about it. The staff didn't seem to really know what was going on too much, except that they were being relocated. When I called the mayor's office, they said that it was an autonomous decision by the board of the library. Okay, so when I went to the library board, they said that they have no autonomy over that decision. It came from the mayor's office. So there was a lot of mixed messages, and I don't think it's fair to take a treasure from the community of Clara Barton, which is a pristine, beautiful neighborhood, which is already being redeveloped on Amboy Avenue, and to take that away from not only the patrons, which are in a consortium in Middlesex County, we have every right to be there, and from the residents of Clara Barton. I think it's inappropriate the way that it was done. They were not notified. As a matter of fact, having heard from, the grapevine, the proverbial grapevine, I had to notify half of the people that are here this evening, hey, did you hear that the library is closing? That's inappropriate, and I don't think it should go through. I think that everything should be halted and that you should meet with the patrons and also the community members that have been living in this neighborhood, most of them for many, many years. So I appreciate you listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else on the resolutions only? Seeing none, can I have a motion to, did you want to speak on the resolution?
My name's Joyce Nussbaum. I live at 62 Wilk Road, Edison, which is sort of Clara Barton over the hill. And I really knew almost nothing about this until I came here tonight. And just for your information, I was at the library yesterday. There's not even a sign hanging there that says they are closing this week. All that's there are the hours of all the branches. So it doesn't look very good to me, the way this has been taken care of. And it doesn't look like for this resolution that you have looks like nothing has happened, but apparently everything has happened except to staff it. In other words, the library is being closed so that you can use this building. This is the building that will have this resolution's fruits. And as several people have said here, it does not look to me like a traffic survey has done. It doesn't look like much of anything has been done. It's a tiny street. If you want to have a special needs recreation department, I'm not saying you shouldn't. I mean that we shouldn't. It would seem to me a bus could navigate Amboy Avenue or any other part of the town than to go up that little street, which is hard to go up now because people park on those streets also. And I don't think they would like their parking space taken away so that you can get a bus. So it doesn't look well thought out to me. Maybe you all can tell me what kind of studies have been done in order to decide that exactly that's the place you want to put it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on the resolutions only? Yes.
Good evening. Diane Yarnell, 282 Hoover Avenue. I was at the library yesterday. I'm a frequent flyer at the Clara Barton Library, and I took out a book, and they said, just want to let you know when you need to return this, you can't come here. You're going to have to find another library to drop it off at. You can go to Metuchen. You can't go to the library in Woodbridge on Ford Avenue because we don't have an agreement with them. So my choice is to go to Metuchen, North Edison, which is about 5 miles away, and I'm not really sure how far Maine is, but it's diagonally across town, which is crazy to get down there. You know, it might be 5 miles, 6 miles, but it's horrible traffic. You all know that. Thank you very much for your consideration.
Council President, young lady, real quick. From what I understand so far, they will have a box out there in front of the Clara Barton Library for you to put the book in. That's what I understand so far. I'm not at the January 12th place yet.
Okay. Any other members of the public who'd like to speak on the resolutions only? Seeing none, can I have a motion to close the public portion?
Motion to close the public portion.
You have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Public portion is closed on the resolutions only. Council members, from my left, Councilman Pointer, anything you'd like to pull?
None, sir.
None, sir. Okay. Councilmember Patil?
Resolution 617, Resolution 842, and Resolution 844 for separate vote.
844 for separate vote.
617, 842, 844.
Yes, I got it. Councilmember Patel?
None, sir.
Council Vice President?
For one, the pull off the, I don't know if you said it already. Oh, you did? Okay. Okay, you already did.
What was that, 6-1?
Okay, I'm good.
You're pulling 617? Council Vice President, which one did you want as well?
No, I'm okay with Councilman Patel. I'm
It's
good.
repeated?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Councilmember Harris?
None, sir.
Councilmember Brescher?
None at this time.
Okay. So, council members, I'd like to do a motion to adopt the consent agenda without 617, 842, and 844. Can I have a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Coyle.
Yes. Um, 617, Councilmember Patil.
Thank you, Council President. And I have given my comments early on. I don't think, we are taking the stride of doing the master plan, and I think, approving this or sending it to planning board will be a mistake. I don't think, this property really deserves the storage facility. Something better can be done here, but that's my opinion. That's why I pulled it for separate vote.
Good, thank you, Councilman. Can I have a motion to adopt 617? Can I have a motion to adopt 617?
Council President?
Yes.
Motion to adopt.
Councilman Pointer, can I have a second?
Second.
Yeah. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Brescher.
No.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
No.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Abstain.
Council President Coyle.
Yes.
4 yeses, motion carried.
8 842. We have,
Council President.
we are making a motion to table this. Have a motion to table it?
Motion to table?
Have a second?
Second.
This is 842, motion to
Table.
table.
Yep. All in favor?
Councilmember Harris is first, who's second?
Templeton.
Council President, can we comment on that?
Absolutely.
Well, since we're, sure, I mean, we could, I'm going to have the members of the public speak.
I know, but.
Sure, absolutely. If you, council comments.
Right. I mean, where I was going with that is we all heard about this the other day. And we said the last time when a few of you were here, this council does not have jurisdiction over the library. That's the library board and the mayor, actually, or the administration. What we could do is, right, we could table this or not move forward with this, because what it sounds like is no one's spoke to anybody there. So the first thing that should take place is probably meetings like was recommended with the community, right, and get the input. Number two, as somebody said about maybe selling the library, right? We watched what happened to our schools. In fact, there was a school down in Clara Barton there that I think got closed and then turned into something else, and then we're looking for schools, right? So we don't forget about history because it does repeat itself. I don't know, I have relatives that are special needs. So to me, that is very close to my heart, okay? I do believe that programs are needed. I do not believe that this should be the township's responsibility. And I don't want to blame the Board of Education because they should be running programs, and I believe they do. But the Board of Education has schools that are vacant for after hours. They have the staff. They have all the equipment. They know the criteria for every grade level. I mean, if there's anybody that is qualified, it's our Board of Education. So for me to try and give that to an outside vendor, I would never. And, I mean, just to kind of sum it up is, I guess it was a communication thing. To me, libraries are important. When you get rid of a library, you kill the neighborhood. Clara Barton has been struggling in my adult life. When I was younger, I remembered it being more vibrant when I was younger, when I went to school with Joe's brother. But it seems like it is dying. And, to make this change at this time, I think is wrong. I think you want to try and keep it alive. I think you want to try and revitalize it. I think the library director should be doing something to try and increase the usage, because libraries are used for different things nowadays. So I agree with you. I'm glad that I seen you come out, because before this, I didn't think anybody cared about the library. So it's good to see that people do care about the library down there in Clara Barton. And I thank you for coming out. That's it.
Thank you. Any other council comments?
Council President.
Yes, Councilman Patil?
During the work session, I made my position very clear. I don't think this is a place. I fully support the special needs program, but I made it clear that this is not the place for this type of program. We are the 5th largest town in state of New Jersey. I think we need to find a better, bigger place for the special needs program. And while I was on the library board as a liaison from the council, in fact, I worked to extend the hours for this Clara Barton Library, help and promote the library usage in that neighborhood. We increase the staffing, and it's very sad that we are on the day discussing about pretty much closing the Clara Barton Library, which goes against what I have done in past and what the board has supported in the past. So that's the reason I pulled this resolution for a separate vote, and I'm damn against closing the Clara Barton Library. Thank you, Council President.
Council.
Yes, Council Vice President. Thank you, Councilman Patil.
The reason I was going to pull it also off, had they not tabled it, is because that unless you meet on January 12th, you don't really understand the full extent of what's going on. So that's like voting blind. because nobody actually knows what's going on. And even though people are talking about special needs and the information, they don't know the impact. I was asking her, it had to deal with autistic children. Like, people don't know the impact and the information completely. So how I feel about it is, I don't think anybody should vote until you come back to us satisfied after you have a meeting with the mayor on January 12th. Then you can come back, probably one of us, somebody will, be able to make that meeting. So then we'll get a better understanding of where was the ball dropped, why you guys wasn't sending information to your houses to come out before. Because as I told you before, I was in the position, like, what was it, 12 years ago? How long ago was that? Like 12 or 15? 2010, yeah. It was in the position of losing it, and nobody even offered you an extra space. So, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think you were offered even another location at that time. It was very, very drastic at that time. So,
I'm sorry, but I apologize. We can't
Yeah.
have a back and forth.
No, we can't.
This is going to be over in a
Yeah.
second. You're going to be able to come
Yeah.
up for another 6 minutes each, and you could
Right.
talk. I'm
I
sorry.
just wanted to,
can't let you do it, not
enlighten
others.
you guys on, with your list of questions and your list of information that you guys can all put together for January 12th, because it's always good to come with your ammunition, to not, speak here, speak there. You have your ammunition, you have your questions, you have your reasons why, you have your statements, your impact statements, and you have all that information as to how you can better coordinate your meetings. Thank you.
Council President?
Yes, Councilman Patel.
So I don't necessarily agree with voting on this today, simply because, as most of the residents were not aware, from what I understand, one of the questions that I asked you to ask was, when is the new library location opening? There are, from what I heard, that there was another library opening.
Yeah, it's going to be another
on
space.
the Amboy Ave location.
The mayor claims.
Okay.
We just have
through DA, when
Again,
do you know
these-
when the Amboy Ave library is on the Amboy Ave location is opening?
It would happen shortly thereafter. We have to come into a lease agreement with the building owner and make sure that we do any repair work to the building to outfit it for the library, so.
And do we have an ETA on that?
Well, we have to wait for all the process to happen.
Okay.
So we have to move one library to the next.
Okay, so as of right now, I agree we should table this because we don't have much power over closing the library or anything. The only thing we can do is whether we vote yes or no on this. So I believe we should wait for the more information to come through to understand the situation better before we move forward. So I think I am agreement to table this.
Any other council members' comments?
Yes, Council President?
Yes.
What is the parking situation for this library? Are we just talking about street spaces, or are we talking about, is there a parking lot? What do we have for that? 6 spaces?
Ma'am.
Yes, Sonia?
In the new building, there's actually more parking than what is currently offered at Claire Barton in the rear of the building.
Okay. So, now, Sonia, I can just, only because I'm familiar with the building and it looks confusing from the outside, all the on-street parking is strictly for the residents. There may be 2 spots on site on that location, but I don't mean to, unless there is something different in the agreement for the actual HOA. Councilman Pointer, do you want to speak to this?
So I kind of have a differing opinion on this specific resolution. I want to make sure I'm clear on this specific resolution. We're asked to have a discussion based on information provided to us. Some of that information has to do with what the potential special needs program would entail. That's what this would allow us to actually detail out. This is not in regards to a contract for a special needs program. It's just authorizing the ability to put it out for bid. Once it's put out for bid, then it would come back to this council to be voted on, right, as a service contract, I'm presuming, right? And at that point, we would have more of the information as to what the program would entail, total length, whatever the concessions may be, all those additional details. Some of the conversation that I hear is two-phased, right? It's one in regards to the actual library facility and keeping the programs there and what would be replaced. Right now, the plan is to have it relocate on to Amboy, onto potentially that corner street, which as a resident, as your neighbor, I am your neighbor. I live right there off of Roosevelt. Right now, I see dilapidated stores. I see vacancy. So is that something also as a neighbor that I want to see? Not necessarily. My ask would be on this resolution, just so that we can get the additional information on what the services that would be sought to be put in the current Clara Barton Library, that we approve that to just so that we can have the information so that when you ask about the
Just a point of order. We're going to, if I can ask council members,
Let's move on.
we're going to stop commenting because during the public session, there's going to be a lot of engagement from the council and the residents, and it'll be more direct back and forth. Okay? So I'm just going to ask the council if we could just move forward. Madam Clerk, we did a motion to table. Motion by Councilmember Harris, second by Councilmember Patel.
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes to table.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes, only for the reason, let's not fix if it's not broken.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes, because I just need more information. I need, no. What did I say?
Table, yes.
Table, yes, yeah, okay.
You saying yes to table?
I'm saying yes to table because I just need more information. Once I get the more information, then I can.
Council President
be
Quayle.
educated
Yes to
on-
table.
Yeah.
Motion carried to table.
Councilmember Patil, 844.
Council President, my question was more on is this work going to start from tomorrow or the next week, and why can't it wait for the next meeting? That's the reason I pulled this, and I didn't see getting that answer clearly because we were debating on the cost, etc. Again, I'm in fully support of getting the volleyball court, but if the council has a concern on the cost, again, we can all talk about inflation, etc. My question is, we are sitting in the month of December, winter is on its way, or we are in winter. If the work is going to start next week, I'll be more than happy to support this. If it is going to start in 2 months down the line, I would wait for it. Thank you, Council President.
Can I have a motion to adopt 844?
Council
I'm
President?
sorry.
Yeah, I'd just like to comment because, right, my council colleague is correct. No one's going to be digging a field when the ground is 6 inches frozen today. And I did look up the numbers that were quoted, and for a $100,000 field, they include things like drainage, which we're not putting in, lighting, roofing, LED scoreboards, bleachers, fencing, and windscreens. So we don't have any of this stuff. We just got the bare frame from what I'm getting of, and that's where I was going with the cost seems excessive to me. So that's why I agreed to have a separate vote. Thank you.
Any other council comments? Hearing none, can I have a motion to adopt 844?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Brescher.
No.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
No.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Quayle.
Yes.
Right, motion carried.
Thank you, council members, for reviewing the resolution set forth. We have we have 217202, ordinance amending the code of the Township of Edison concerning police and hiring. Can I have clerk read ordinance?
We are pretty much at the end of the
I'm in the wrong
meeting.
spot here. I apologize. Okay. Do you accept any communication from Ron Leffler on the zoning process?
Motion to accept the email communication from Ron Lofter.
Okay.
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Okay, now we're at oral petition remarks. At this time, members of the public can discuss any thing they would like. So in order, yes, you can come up, please. I'm sorry, we had a list? And we're going to yield, Mary, you have to yield some time to some new people.
Is it okay?
How are you? Yes.
Yeah.
And then Joel will be next.
Okay. Sue Malone Barber, 85 Pleasant Avenue, across the street from the library. Thank you for tabling the resolution. John, I understand your point, but having that resolution be adopted moves it one step closer to happening. So I disagree. I'm glad you tabled it, and thank you for that. As the other residents have been saying, this was a big surprise to everyone, including the librarians, as I understand it. And, you know, based on the information we have, and we can confront the mayor personally when we meet with him, this is something the mayor wants to do. He wants that building. My opinion is, this is a big township. If we can find a place for a library, we can find a place for a learning center. I also agree with Councilman who said that this is an education thing, and people move to Edison because of the special needs programs in Edison, and they're fabulous. And I'm not suggesting that a special needs program isn't a great idea. But who and what research was done on why there needs to be a trade-off? We need a library, and maybe we need a special needs program. I don't know if any of you, Joe, I know you probably know, and John, you know, that space that's being proposed is horrible. The ceilings are low. They'll have to knock down walls. So as of this week, Clara Barton is without a library for an indefinite period of time. How far along is the lease arrangement? Has anyone been spoken to yet? Can you answer that? Do you know?
Sure. Right now, we're working out the terms of the lease agreement, as far as I understand, and that's reliant on the library board, who has to work in their autonomy. They have to work that lease agreement with the building owner.
And have they done it? They've talked to the building owner?
As far as I understand, there have been conversations, yes.
And they'll be allowed to knock down walls because there's separate stores there now. So how's that going to flow like a library?
There are two spaces there that would be worked out, as far as I understand.
What's the square footage?
I can let the council president know that tomorrow, definitely.
I think we should know the square footage. Again, I'll reiterate, no resident input, extremely secretive, underhanded, people reading about it in the newspaper. Again, I think the mayor somehow has made up his mind about this. The impact, I live right across the street, school buses, what have you, coming through the neighborhood. I mean, I don't necessarily mind that, but I think it would be good to know that, what the impact will be. I also did a spin around that parking lot in that building before I came here today. And there's a big sign that says resident permit parking only. So I don't know how you open a library and require resident permit parking. And are we going to displace the people that live there by taking up their parking lot? I don't think that's going to happen. We have to be realistic. So I think the plan is ill-conceived on where the library will be. I think it's a afterthought, scrambling to appease the residents who are really angry at this. And I don't think it's a suitable space. And again, I will say, If you can find a space for the library, you can find a space for the Learning Center. That library's been there, I think, since 1969. That property belonged to the town, and a library was built there. I really would like to know, again, what criteria is being used to determine that we'd be better served with a learning center versus a library and a place for community. That space on the corner is so small. How many, could it have scout meetings? I mean, there's that library's used. I live right across the street. I see the lot. And I would really like to understand what criteria is being used to determine it's not used. Councilman, I appreciated your comments. Clara Barton is not struggling. I've been there for 35 years. It was never struggling. That is some outside view. That neighborhood still has affordable homes. People are buying those homes, young families. They are staying in their homes and they're putting tops on them. That neighborhood is beautiful. There's a lot of diversity coming in, and it's a very, very nice community. It's not struggling. So we need to shatter that perception because it's just not true. Let me see. I think you answered my question about privately run. That is a very scary thing because if they don't want to run it anymore, what happens? What happens to that building? What happens to that space? I would like to have the documentation or share with the residents of the plan, what criteria was used to say that the library needs to move and get smaller, and I don't know where I can get that from.
I apologize, but your time is up.
Can you advise on that?
I do understand a lot of the questions you have, and I will get answers. I can't do that, I apologize. But I stand where you are. I'm not supporting closing the library, nor was I aware it's recently closing.
I understand.
I was aware of some research that's going to be done to have special needs. Listening to it today and hearing what's going on, is the facility suited for that? Is the facility big enough for that? Will it change the makeup of the neighborhood? A lot of questions on the table. Do we have a lease in place for the local place that we have now? What's the build out? What's the cost? I stand where you are with the questions, and I think I know most of the questions you're asking, and I'll ask Sonia to get them answered for you.
That'd be great.
I'm hoping this council will support asking the library board through Council Vice President Shipp, who's involved in the library board, to demand they keep it open, until the questions are resolved with the residents and residents have a chance. I think the mayor's intentions are very strong on addressing the special needs. We all care about special needs.
Yeah.
And everyone has been affected by special needs. But perhaps the Stelton Community Center would be more appropriate for that.
Why does it have to be traded off?
This is not within our jurisdiction. So this is the first I'm seeing this
I understand.
opportunity to be contracted. And I'm not interested in having someone be contracted to run our special needs programs. However, that may be the best liability option. We're not in that business. We're not professionals in that business. I'm not a doctor in that business. But I think there's going to be a lot of new questions asked by this council. And the first one I'm hoping they ask is to ask the library board to keep it open until these questions are answered, until the meeting takes place at the Preservation Committee and Clara Barton. So we're listening. We're here for you.
Thank you.
And some of this is new to us, and some of this is part of the administration's authority to set the policy. But it doesn't mean we have to agree to it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay?
Council President?
Yeah, yes, Sonia.
I
go ahead.
did get some information. It's a space of 2,900 square feet.
Okay. Okay, that answer was 2,900 square feet for the location there. The gentleman in the back, I'm sorry, one second here. These people have been waiting patiently for a long time, and they haven't said a word. The lady in the yellow, please.
Are we working off the list, Joe?
Yeah, I'm not on the list, but Joel can accept it. He's yielding his time. Right, Joel? Yes, please. State your name and address, please.
Namaste, my name is Rutva Hadab. I
Namaste.
live in 63 Chatsworth Court off of Talmadge. Today I'm a resident of Edison and a volunteer of Hindu Swayam Sevak Sangh USA, or HSS. HSS is a 501c3 voluntary nonprofit sociocultural Hindu organization that is registered in the United States. HSS has been serving the Edison community for over 10 years, conducting various community service programs such as a community yogathon, teacher appreciation day, food and winter clothing drives, yoga for seniors, and community cleanups. And I am here today to give updates on the Seva Diwali food drive. So the Seva Diwali initiative is a nationwide food drive that is organized by various Hindu American and Dharmic communities, including yoga, spiritual, Hindu, Buddhist, Sikh, and Jain centers, temples, gurudwaras, linguistic, and Indian socio-cultural organizations. The Sanskrit word seva means selfless service, and we believe in the concept of seva dharma, which means service to humanity is service to divinity. The mission of Seva Diwali is to foster togetherness and selfless giving for the welfare of society by promoting the festive and enlightening spirit of the Hindu festival Diwali. The Seva Diwali project was started in New Jersey 5 years ago in 2018, and it is coordinated nationally by HSS. In the past couple years, Seva Diwali has come to demonstrate the collective strength and synergy of the Hindu American community in performing valuable service to their local communities. Since 2018, we have been expanding nationally. In 2022, the campaign ran in 200 cities across 32 states. We collected over 600,000 pounds of food and donated to 376 food pantries, soup kitchens, and more throughout the country. This year in Edison, HSS organized our 5th annual Seva Diwali food collection drive from September 26th to November 5th. We partnered with several local businesses and cultural and religious organizations such as the Sai Datta Peetham on Oak Tree Road, the Art of Living Center, Sri Radha Gopinath Mandir, BAPS, and many more. HSS volunteers set up food collection centers at their homes and campaigned in their neighborhoods. A majority of our volunteers are school students and young adults, and they collected food by standing outside grocery stores with their parents and also by doing door-to-door campaigns to spread the word about the Seva Diwali initiative. This year in Edison, more than 5,000 pounds of food was collected and donated at the food drop-off event on November 23rd at Middlesex College. The concluding event was presided over by Edison council members and community leaders. From the bottom of our heart, we would like to thank all of our volunteers, partnering organizations, and the officials of Edison Township, including Council Member Ajay Patil and Council Vice President Joyce Shiv-Freeman, for their outstanding support for us. And the Edison community has always responded amazingly to all our community service programs. And I once again thank you for all your support and encouragement to HSS by giving us the opportunity to make the Edison community more inclusive. I would like to conclude by talking about Seva, which plays a crucial role in an individual's life from a dharmic tradition. We as Hindus believe in the principle called Paropakarartham idam shariram, which is Sanskrit, which means a person lives to serve others selflessly. Through efforts like these and more, we hope to unite the community and serve our society. Dhanyavad. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Did you have any comments on that side? Anybody else that wanted to comment? Okay, hearing none. Mr. Romano?
Joseph Romano, Edison, New Jersey. On a really lighter note, this morning at 6:30, I called the police department. There was another tractor trailer that came down Avenue C, found out that you can't turn around, and drove over my lawn.
Holy crap.
Which is okay because it's only my lawn, and I'm hoping that Amboy Avenue has extra flowers that they could park some flowers on my lawn. Maybe I should wait for a council president to come back. Yeah, I guess he just decided to leave. Okay, the problem is in Avenue C is a low-weight street, 4 tons, and there's signage put in by the township that says no turnaround, no outage, stop. And for some reason, the gentleman who drives the trucks, and a lady, excuse me, we make sure that everybody's accounted for, they say to me, and you're asking why me, they say, well, the GPS said to go this way. Well, the one truck who didn't run over my lawn, the one truck caused $18,000 worth of damage to the building. It took 4 wreckers, 4 huge wreckers, not little ones, huge ones, to pick the trailer up to move it out of the way so they can move it around. Also, the gentleman who was using the truck, he said that he was having palpitations of the heart, and the police department diligently took him, had him transported to the hospital. That truck right now is an impound. It's an impound for $80,000. Now, the $18,000 that is covering part of the wall, the concrete wall, it didn't cover my $5,000 worth of my pickup truck that got destroyed, and it didn't cover the $28,000 for the Honda that got run over. I went to the township and I said, can I please get some sort of signage or something? And they said, as long as the signs that you put up aren't within 8 feet of the road, which would mean that the signs would have to be in the middle of my lawn. Now, the trucks coming down Main Street make either rights or lefts onto Avenue C, where there is one sign that says no trucks over 4 ton. You go 100 feet and there's 2 more signs presented by the township that says no turnaround. Well, I'm going to ask you a question. Help. Help me. Unless I get flowers like Amboy Avenue, I'm lost. Now, they tell me that the GPS is sending them down this road. So for months now, I finally figured out a reason. I figured out a solution. Mr. Brescher, you know exactly where I'm talking about, and some other people, Ms. Freeman.
Yes, I want some signage also.
When you go down the road makes a very, not a hard left, but it makes a left. If you go straight, you go over the public right-of-way onto a railroad tracks, and over the railroad tracks, another 20 feet or so, is the warehouse that the trucks are going to go. So I'm sitting going, okay, but I got a solution. And I need the zoning board and the planning board, and I know you people. And, I definitely got to notice the mayor. Okay, here's my plan. Let's take the signs down, and let's build a road. Please, I'm sorry, I apologize. Let's build a road over the railroad tracks into the parking lot of the trucking company or warehousing company. But wait a minute, we can't do that. Yeah, it is a problem. If you do that, you're going to run into where they want to put the 75-foot sign alongside of my house, illuminated on both sides with LED lights. Now, that's okay. And I'm sorry, I'm going to talk anyway. The fact of the matter is, and he's not here.
Listen. Time's up. Time's up. You have to come back and.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to have a good time next
For your
time.
problem, I'd like to have law enforcement down there near you and I to give out
At
tickets.
6:15 in the morning,
I
law
don't care. I want
enforcement
them
was
there.
called.
Yeah.
They never showed up.
All right.
How's that?
Okay.
Let's talk your law enforcement.
Okay. Thank you.
Paul, find
Next.
out.
I will.
You tech. You try it. You look at it.
All right.
You look at the 911 operators.
All right. Thank you.
I'll be back.
Next. Right again. Oh, you missed it. It was for you.
Hi, Shagun Oshin, 142 Hoover Avenue. Thank you, guys. So I appreciate that you guys will recommend that the library not be closed. Excuse me. And I do appreciate that you might not have jurisdiction, or you might not have the power to address all of the concerns that we have. But I think it's important for us to talk about this to you guys, right? Because it's important to us. There's a lot that's been said about Amboy Avenue being busy. This is back to the library, by the way. About Amboy Avenue being a bit too busy, the impact analysis. Somebody mentioning that moving the library will make it better attended. I don't believe that. Somebody else mentioned that the ball was dropped. I don't think that the ball was dropped. It seems to me that the mayor, the town, the board of libraries acted in bad faith. From my understanding of what happened, I think they tried to close the library before. There was uproar about it, and I think this is another way of trying to do it, or do it a slightly different way, and not have people be able to comment on it. So it seems to me that nobody on this table had enough information. Nobody here in the community had enough information, and I think that was on purpose. And I think that that's very wrong, right? So it seems to me that we pride ourselves in sort of, living in a democracy and all that kind of stuff. But that is dependent on everybody having the information that they need to make the right decisions. And I think that the mayor or whoever has the vested interest in this has gone about this the wrong way, and I think that that's wrong. And I think what's important, what I'd like to bring up is that we need to avoid this happening again in the future, right? I think that it's inappropriate for this to happen and for so much to sort of go ahead without us being able to comment on something that affects us. And I think that it makes a mockery of the system. It makes a mockery of just like the way that things are supposed to be run. For somebody to unilaterally decide, right, that a library should be moved or be closed without us being able to comment on it. And I think that's very wrong. So I think that we need to make sure that we avoid that in the future. Whatever happens with the library, that needs to be avoided. And I'm saying that to you guys because I think that you guys have the power to make sure that the board of libraries or the mayor doesn't pull this kind of stunt again. So we, as Sue mentioned earlier, we want to Clara Barton is not dying, right? But we want to make it better. You don't make it better by taking away the library, right? You don't make it better by taking away the library or putting it somewhere else without having us comment on it. That doesn't make our neighborhood better. The way that we make it better is keeping the good things that are there. Like somebody mentioned earlier, nobody is against having a special needs place. There's a good way to do it and an underhanded way of doing things, right? And I think that's what's happened here. So I just wanted to make that comment, and I'll take my response wherever. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Did we go off the list yet? Joel, did you speak yet or no? I need to go back to the list. Are you yielding your time to the residents? Joel, did you want to speak or do you want to yield your time? Okay, we had Maria. You were next, Maria. Did you want to speak or yield your time? Okay.
Hi, Maria Orchid, 83 Jefferson, Clara Barton.
You're recognized. You have the floor.
Thank you. I hope everyone had a nice Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, and a Happy New Year. Thank you for adding more members to the Human Relations Commission. We look forward to our training and doing the essential work for our community. Junior and senior high school students, just want to let you know you can join for free National Guard every Wednesday from 5 to 6:30 at Woodbridge Armory for free. Also, they offer free college for anyone who's interested in New Jersey. There's 30 colleges. When you go, just tell them Jack sent you. We're very upset about the Clara Barton Library. That is our beloved library we bring our children to. When I went to the church, I forget the name, the church that closed, they showed pictures of what the library used to look like many years ago. It was a synagogue. If you can, please check out the valuable resources for that area. Thank you to all the volunteers that have helped Edison Environmental Commission and Beautiful Edison. Please check our website for our future volunteer opportunities. Looking for an update on the crossing guard situation and how we're doing with storms. How's our storm update? A traffic study for the Old Post Road and the Boulevard of Eagles. And update for our senior citizen center. And it was a shame. I noticed there was only 2 heat places for people who needed to go. For a town as big as Edison, why do we only have 2 places? We should have more. Thank you.
Is there any other members of the public, first-time speakers that want to speak? First-time speakers on public comments? Any speakers? Okay, Mr. Bassoff, yeah.
Good evening, Joel Bassoff, 17 Beach Lane, Edison. First, kudos to the mayor for his excellent appointments to the Human Relations Commission. On old business, several meetings ago, an ordinance for a bond issue was approved, and I had asked for information on the fees that would be incurred in the issuance of the bonds and for who the bond counsel and the underwriters would be, and I still haven't gotten that information. So I don't want to be one of the people that asks questions and then just forgets about it if there's no answer.
Joel, just CC me. I'm sure Sonia will take care of it.
Okay.
If it's not, just CC me and,
Sure.
and
I
I'll follow up
appreciate
as
that.
well. I mean, you're not the only request. It's still important, but I'll certainly follow up as well.
I
Or any
appreciate that.
council member.
Thank you. Also, I'd like to ask the clerk's office to bring the township website up to date with the council minutes. It's only through, I think, May, so it's helpful to the public if we can access that information on a more up-to-date basis. And finally, some public service announcements. First of all, if anyone was planning to go to the Community Kwanzaa celebration in New Brunswick, I checked the website and it's been completely subscribed. However, it is available by live stream. So if you go to the Facebook page of the New Brunswick area NAACP, you'll be able to check that tomorrow starting at 4:30. And it's interesting, today is the 3rd day of Kwanzaa. The principle that this day emphasizes is Ujima, collective work and responsibility, and it's described as being to build and maintain our community together, to make our community's problems our problems, and to solve them together. And it's very appropriate that we have a council meeting tonight, the same day that Ujima is the guiding principle of the Kwanzaa celebration, and I think that what we've heard from the public exemplifies the community coming together to make each individual's problems the problems of the community and hopefully solve it together as a community. Also, I'm loath to emphasize programs that take place outside of Edison. Normally, there's no reason to leave Edison. However, the New Jersey Parks and Forests Department is sponsoring on January 1st what they call first day hikes through various nature preserves and park areas, including in Middlesex County, Cheesequake State Park. There'll be a hike guided by a naturist beginning at 1 p.m. So people can gather at the 300 Gordon Road in Old Bridge Township. And also the train exhibit at the Barron Arts Center in Woodbridge is about to close. So if you haven't seen that, take advantage of an opportunity to do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Who's on the list that we can get? Who's on the list we didn't get? Do you know? Rutu? Did Rutu leave? I think that was the girls? She spoke already? Okay, great. I'll just continue to open up. Any first-time speakers for the public portion? You spoke already. Okay. Did you speak in the open comments? No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Okay, please, you can come up. I'm sorry.
Good evening, Edison, AJ Benz, Edison, New Jersey. Do I have the floor?
Yes, you have the floor. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. Before I get started, I just want to take a moment of silence for the people who cannot be here, who lost their lives from COVID. I just want to make just a few moments of silence of the people that we lost this year. Thank you. Good job, guys. I'm very proud of my township neighborhood is what they're doing, speaking up for this town. It's been a struggle year for all of us. The inflation, gas prices, even the prices at the vending machine is a little bit going up a little bit. Cost me like $2.25 for Mountain Dew. How about we drop that down to a quarter? And you want to talk about gas, what is it, price gouging? Well, there you go. Price gouging is right behind us. I want to appreciate the mayor for what he has been doing. I know there's been a lot of criticism from his first year between Christo, the mayor, the police, the residents, everybody. Thank you for speaking up. You guys, we are the voice of Edison, New Jersey. We're always the voice in this state. A lot of people is watching our YouTube. If you're watching us, thank you. Thank you for watching. It's been a crazy 2 weeks for me since the last council meeting. If you know what I'm saying, yeah. I feel like it's been a mockery of people who is throwing me underneath the bus. This comes from a heavy heart. I understand, I don't know, Christo is not here, but Christo or Transparency, if you're watching this right now, lay low on the tensions a little bit. I feel like we need to give Jersey Watcher maybe a chance. I understand he's being restricted on YouTube. I'm going through the same thing. While he's being restricted here, I'm being restricted on an app called Live Me. I'm also doing a project. I already released the first part of the true secrets of Live Me. What Live Me is doing things that is unconstitutional. It's a threat of national security, and it's not good. I feel like if I can make a deal with Jersey Watcher or the judge, I actually do need Jersey Watcher's help. There's a lot of secrecy going around with this app, just like how he wants to expose everybody. We just got to do the right thing, get the truth out. I feel everybody who's been saying about my deaf friend Anthony, I found some news. He had a heart problem. He wasn't part of the pedophile list. That was a bunch of lies. Just like how Mr. Christo said that if I guess departments, he said something about departments where that Sam Joshi gave them money, and then whatever he said something about departments, about the money, and you deny it, saying that's not true. Just like the same thing about my dead friend Anthony. People got to do their due diligence first. Speak up the truth. This is why we're here every 2 weeks speaking about what's really going on in the township of Edison. And if you guys are watching on YouTube, speak out to your councilman, your mayor, your local police department. They're here for you, just like they're there for us, 24/7, 7 days a week. It's a shame what I've been hearing. But I hope this year, by the end of this year, going to next year, hopefully next year will be so much better than last year. I don't know what else to say, but thank you. God bless you. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. And God bless Edison, New Jersey, and the residents behind me. I have nothing else to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any of the first-time speakers? I don't promise. Mr. Romano, second-time speaker, you have rebuttal, 3 minutes. I can, now, I need to tell you, describe what a rebuttal is, because we've changed some things around here, Mr. Romano.
Okay, you go right ahead.
Your rebuttal is to make
Are you taking my
comments.
time off?
Go ahead, continue. I'm just kidding with you.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm not kidding.
No, it's,
I'm
we
telling
try
you
to
the
keep it
truth.
to a comment that may have happened
Come to the Board
in
of
the
Ed
public meeting.
on January 2nd, there will not be a clock. Number 2, am I going to get my road? Mr. Brescher, Vice President Chip, am I going to get my road?
Well, it's like this. I'm going to have the police officers come there because I can't even get out of my driveway. So I hear your problem, but I think mine might be worse than yours. So
Your problem, you
We're
know what
gonna-
your problem is? Honestly, not your, it's the problem with the road, because the road, when they put the New Jersey Turnpike in,
yes.
they moved the road over 21 feet.
Oh.
So the road is actually in front of the deli. And the people park in front of the deli, which is double and triple parking. Sometimes your school buses get stuck in Julius Ingalls because they can't get out because of people double and triple parking. Now, I apologize. When am I going to get my road?
Mr. Romano, I listen, you know me, I'm not going to lie to you. I would say that we haven't repaved roads, never mind built new roads this year. So
Yeah, but the trucks are riding over my lawn. When am I going to get my flowers?
I think you need signs.
I mean, Amboy Avenue gets flowers. I didn't get nothing. I just got an 18-wheeler on my lawn.
I think maybe a sign with a height restriction on
They
it.
got a sign over there on Parsonage Road, and they still run under the bridge and wreck it. They got I-beams going across it. Oh. Sir.
The truck drivers are not like they used to be, sir. I will tell you that.
Okay,
they used
I
to
know.
be,
I'm there.
They used to be good. The old timers were good.
Thank you for consideration. Okay, to be perfectly honest, my 3 minutes is almost up. Come to the board meeting. You'll get 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you, sir, you can get as much as you'd like.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Romano. Yes, please. It's your second time speaking. You have 3 minutes, just so you know.
No, that was anyway.
It's your first time speaking or no?
My first time speaking.
Is it first time open?
Public. Yeah.
Okay, then you have 6 minutes. I'm sorry.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everybody.
And welcome.
Thank you so much. When we came here 2 weeks ago, we actually did not have so much hope, but we believe in miracles. So today, one of the miracles happened, and it's a sign that something good is coming out. I want to sincerely say thank you so much to those people that are listening to us, those people that believe in our cause. And in the process of this, we were able to talk to them at the Board of Education. We went to one of their meetings, and a lot of things were revealed in the process of it. And in the feedback we were getting to, a lot of what we are able to relate came from that. We are especially grateful to Councilman Richard to Josie and Patel and Ajay, John. Thank you to everybody, even Margaret, everybody. But we want to specially thank you for the opportunity for that library to stay, because as it is, there's nothing. If it should, as of that time we were talking to you, if it should close to, like tomorrow, there's nothing until it is decided that they want to point us to somewhere. So for that, we're really, really grateful. You gave us so much faith to look at it that, oh, democracy could work at last, because we were on the point of shaking and thinking it's possible things may not work the way it should work. And it's very difficult to actually believe things when there is an antecedent. You know, when you experience something over and over again, when the story is being dangling and promises are being made, because you already experienced it, you don't forget what has happened before. So we are at that point now, and we just want to keep it in mind that that place is good as a library. The same excuse that is being given is the same excuse that will happen to the special need place. The other time when we were talking, I said the Board of Education is the ideal place to handle it. And Councilman Richard, you threw some caution to me, but at the end of today, you know that what we were saying is actually, it looked like lousy, stupid, but it came out as truth at the end of the day. So we're grateful that that one landed on the table, because it's a sign that it landed on the table. It means that things can be done correctly. We really appreciate your efforts. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you. Okay, and Council Vice President, they're meeting at the First Aid Squad?
Claire Barton.
Claire Barton First Aid Squad, or where is the
No,
meeting?
at the Claire Barton Library.
At the Claire Barton Library, January 12th, correct?
Yes, yes.
What time
yes.
is that?
Yes, at 7 p.m.
January 12th.
7 p.m. at Claire Barton.
7 p.m.
And
Okay.
in the meantime, we'll try to do a stoppage tomorrow so they can just keep it open until some things go a little further. Is that possible? Excuse me, is the BA, is that possible to keep it open another couple of weeks until we decide on something?
I can certainly speak to everyone involved, and if we need to put anything out, then we will.
Yeah.
Yeah, please, like at least give it like a couple of more weeks until they, until after they have the meeting.
You can,
That we have
you
a-
can step up, ma'am.
Yeah.
Good evening again.
Sure,
My
for-
name is
for-
Joyce Nussbaum at 62 Wilk Road. I wanted to thank you if you can try to keep the library open in the meantime. And I just wanted to make a comment. I understand that you don't have jurisdiction, but clearly, if the library is being closed without having the alternative spot opened, shows how important this must be to whoever were involved in the decision-making. So clearly, it was not a transparent and well-thought-out proposition, nor, I think, is the one for the special needs, because that also is something that needs to be taken care of, because you have most of those people arriving in buses or something that also may need a place to keep and to bigger than a car. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody, any other members of the public that'd like to speak? Seeing none, can I have a motion to close the public portion?
Motion to close the public portion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any nays? The motion to close the public portion is agreed. Okay. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. This meeting is adjourned.